9.
Mm-hmm. And then
your bank maneuvers.
Mm-hmm.
And then hers is after you execute a red or blue. Yeah, after you execute a red or blue maneuver, it's not what's set on your dial.
No, but it says while executing a red maneuver or blue maneuver, you may rotate your dial to another one of the same, like on the same color on your dial or something.
What does this one say?
Whereas Kova's ability now references the
physical dial.
The physical dial. So Hera's ability technically now references the physical dial. So now the only way, I guess the only way that would halfway work is if you revealed a 3 bank and you wanted to change it to one of the 1 banks.
Whatever. I super don't fucking care.
It's stupid. And then I have no idea when the hell you measure distance for snapshot. Like,
I'm pretty sure it's when you go to shoot.
Yeah, but it's stupid.
For you to put it in the ability queue, the only requirement is movement.
Mm-hmm. But if you put it in the ability queue, you're now committed to taking the attack.
You're committed to maybe performing the attack.
Are you?
It says may. You may perform this attack.
I don't know. Like, that makes sense too. Like, both arguments make sense, and all this FAQ did was make more things where both things make sense.
Right.
Why does the stream
as with
still
most
say
FFG things, I'm sure it was well intended, and they just forgot a dozen gotchas that we all figured out in 10 seconds because none of us were asked. Or the people they did ask went, yeah, I don't think this is going to affect my world squad, and that's all the playtesting they did.
Yeah.
That's the way
Josh Kiefer.
Kiefer, people.
Hey, Kiefer.
That's Kiefer? That makes a lot more sense.
What? The one that says Josh Kiefer is Josh Kiefer?
There's a U there.
Queefer? Were you going for Queefer? Is that what you were going for?
I said like Koofer.
Koofer? Okay.
I have a cat. She's acting needy.
I have one of those too.
I don't.
But yeah.
Montana?
Why? No. I don't know what. I mean, I guess. Oh, okay. All right. Well, time to get this person. We'll probably put this in the. Oh, Nick, that's gotta go to the top. This will go right there. And where's the thing? Add. No. Well, I just do this then. Forward to this person. Question for Chico on R4. If R4 does not affect the printed color of the moves on the dial, does it not have a distinct activation window? When does it trigger?
Use common sense.
Okay.
Common sense, I think, says that it probably happens whilst you are performing maneuvers because you're decreasing the difficulty of the maneuver, not your dial.
Yeah.
I think that's what we have to assume at this point.
Oh, but Sam says this is clearly R4 does nothing now. Because cards in the past have totally done nothing.
Guidance
not
chips.
True.
Bomb loadout.
You know what I mean. It's like the same argument back when they made some rules change and because they added some weird timing window, people were like, well, that card clearly can never trigger. I forget which one it was, and FFG just said, no, it works how you think it should work. Just play the damn game.
The TIE fighter with tractor beams and no disarm token guy, tractor disarm guy. I'm gonna try something.
Zach, what did you do to make sure you had the right mic set up?
I had to unplug my HTC Vive, and there's like settings in the if you click the little settings button in the bottom. I pretty much just unplugged anything that wasn't the stuff I'm wanting to use.
Oh man, is Gordon really going to be on?
Gordon.
Maybe.
That means I have to get super shit-faced to embarrass him.
I've already started drinking.
Oh, he hasn't said anything. Why don't you speak up or something? Also, you need to have a name. Leave and come back and put your name.
Whose
name?
No, because I can't it won't let me choose a device or anything if there's no title.
For who? I can see Gordon's name.
I see his name.
No, I'm talking about in the audio mixer in the layers that I have control of.
What about it?
Oh, it says it does have his name in there. Well, I don't see it.
He's muted.
Oh wow, there's only 3,500 people in queue. I don't know
3,500 people in the queue of what?
Nothing.
Action queue?
WoW Classic?
Yeah. There's only 2 people in that. Barely anybody's on anymore. It's funny how quickly that died off.
I don't see anything that has me muted you at all.
I don't know why people play games the day they come out. I really don't. There's always issues and problems and too many people or dumb things going on. When I jump on a month later, man, the 3 patches have rolled out. Everything's solved. The rush is gone.
Yeah, but there's no rush then.
Meh, I'm old.
Oh, apparently some TO isn't going to be using the new rules this weekend.
What does it mess up for them?
What?
What why? Why not?
It's not the new ability queue stuff. I don't know. I'm super glad about the changes on Tractored.
Aren't they effective immediately? Yeah, effective as of today. He kind of has to use them.
Yeah.
Well, it's not near me, so I don't care.
At least if it's a hyperspace, he definitely should be using them.
Mm-hmm.
Gordon, leave and come back.
Jesus, Chico, how much weight have you lost? I'm still at only 50, but
only
right. But I've noticed my waistline getting smaller, but my number on the scale doesn't drop at all. So I don't know where it's shifting around, but I guess I can't complain.
Shifting into the muscles.
I'm completely okay with just maintaining at this point. I am 195 is the border between healthy and overweight, and I'm between 185 and 190 right now, which I'm fine with. Huh?
How tall are you?
6'2".
Jesus, isn't that ridiculous? Could you imagine me at that same weight? I just don't see it happening. But
you can do it.
I imagine
Makes a ridiculous amount of work.
It does. You've been running for what, a year?
A year and 3 months.
I really need to check something. This is bugging me. I don't remember when I broke my foot. I feel
at all, or general time frame.
Time frame. I don't remember if it was a year ago or 2 years ago, because I spent 2 years trying to find a job, I think, but I feel like I broke my foot a year ago. But I remember near the beginning of me looking for a job, I had my foot in a cast because I remember going to an interview with my foot in a cast.
That's gotta suck. Because then you gotta explain that.
I made light of it. It was a good time. Let's see. Let's try training log. Because I did my 10-mile run right before I broke my foot.
Yeah.
I think that sounds right, right?
I don't know. I don't remember you breaking your foot.
Jesus, what are you doing? It would have been right before Crossroads 3, right? Or it would have been Crossroads 2.
Were you in a cast at Crossroads?
I was in a cast at Crossroads.
I don't remember this at all.
July 27th, 2018 was when I did a 10-mile run. So 2018, let's just... Who is that? Hi, Ollie. Oh my gosh, I got to get him purring on here. It is the most ridiculous cat sound.
Oh, you cat
Tommy
people.
says he remembers you in a cast.
Hi,
Yeah,
Nami.
No, Tommy.
Tommy.
Oh.
Which one? How was that?
I still declare it. Hi, Nami.
Okay.
Everybody's got to say hi to Nami. That's like a rule, right?
Jacob, what was my list at Muncie? It was... it was Poe. I think 2 A-Wings and Finn.
Oh, okay. So
It was HLC Poe.
Poe 3 tiny things.
Mm-hmm. Which, yay, Finn's got nerfed.
Yeah, I mean his like ceiling got lowered, but I don't inherently think he's out of the game. Like, still good for 30 points, and you might still be fine with the same loadout of Perceptive Copilot and Pattern Analyzer. Hi, Cat.
That's Mason. He's nice.
Yeah, Gordon, I don't know. Like, I try to add microphone, and there's a blank like guest microphone on there with no name. And like this, like the other microphones that I see, like they'll say like definitely not Chico's microphone or Zach's microphone. It's just blank. If you had a name, it would be like Gordon's microphone. Mm-hmm. And then for webcam, if I wanted to add a camera, I could go to yours and hit add to scene. Let me see.
I don't think Gordon has his camera or microphone set up right.
I thought he's done this before.
Maybe I just got lazy last year. Sounds more believable, right?
He's doing about as good with his microphone as Roethlisberger does with a football.
Oh! I forgot, what was his injury even?
Elbow. Look at me knowing a sports thing. I actually watched the Browns game the other day.
Yeah, I heard they actually had a good game for
because they beat the shit out of their quarterback. Like, the Jets starting quarterback has mono apparently.
Nice.
So he's probably out for the rest of the season. And
wait, Sam Darnold?
Sure.
The rookie
out for the season with mono? The hell?
He got sick, and then their second string guy, I saw his leg roll over the wrong way over his ankle. So that was fun to watch.
Ouch.
I want to look up what happened, see if he actually had a thing.
Yeah, it seems like it's a little dangerous to be a quarterback right now.
Yeah.
Apparently, there is now a new rule. He's out for the season. There's a new rule that like tackling quarterbacks, you're not allowed to put your full weight on them now.
Right. Okay. If you can prevent it, right?
No, just period.
Oh,
wow. He's got a ligament damage, no fractures, which is oof.
Just give them all flags. That's where it's going, right?
Yeah.
Hey Chico, how you feeling about doing the intro?
If I had a copy of the intro in front of me, or I can just make something up and be funny.
Option 2 seems fun.
Okay.
Oh, look at that. We just hit 15 minutes. That's close enough. Podcast start. 15 minutes.
Echo.
And change in. There is an echo. What is this?
Probably Gordon.
But I didn't put his mic in yet. Well, I mean, we can hear it. The live people won't.
Oh, sad.
Yeah, like when I click that empty space that shows what he would be into the microphone, it's like choose device, red, cannot understand.
Well, because he doesn't have a device picked. That's why he's listed as muted.
Gordon, click on the little settings cog at the bottom of the screen.
Here's what it says. Default microphone.
What is your default microphone?
Can you select something else?
Maybe go to change your default microphone.
Then 4 of the following some device.
Nice.
Does it really say like literally some device, or you just don't want to list them because they're all wackadoo?
Literally.
Literally some device.
I feel like try unplugging your freaking headphones and plugging them back in at this point. I don't know.
Or just do default microphone and then go and change your default microphone in your system settings.
Yeah, if you go to your system, if you open up like your Windows start bar.
Yes, Gordon, turn it on and off, please.
And if you go to your control panel and manage audio devices, and click on recording, see what's registering sound when you talk, and then enable that one.
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure he's an IT.
Oh, I don't know what the fuck. You know this better than me then. I have some OxyClean. You want to know about clinical trials? I know that stuff. Apparently I'm the fucking IT guy in meetings, though. Nobody knows how to use a goddamn WebEx presentation.
God, WebEx.
How do I share my screen? Well, there's the button that says share screen. Why isn't anything showing? Because you're sharing the wrong screen.
Yeah, right. I was about to say, how come it's how do I make sure it shares the correct screen? Click the button.
Mason. How you, buddy? Annie's out of town, so it's just me and the cats.
Chat, type a 1 if you think Gordon will eventually make it in. Chat, type a 2 if not.
Or F if he doesn't. F to pay respects. Type a 3 if you want cats on the third window instead.
-6. Window. Jeez.
I think it's all a ruse. He doesn't actually want to be on.
That's probably true. Sabotaging us.
I mean, at this point, nothing's changed in terms of anything I've been given to like input for him or him working. Oh, wow. Was that the cat hitting the mic for you, or is that Gordon actually making noises? That's the cat hitting the mic.
Mason.
Okay.
I feel like I
don't know what to tell you, Gordon.
It's Spidey.
You can go have a peaceful night with your wife. I think the Sound Blaster software is incompatible. I don't run that. Do you have to?
Sound Blaster. I haven't heard of that in years. That's a name I haven't heard in a long, long time.
Windows 95, boys.
You have to use that? There's not an option for no and use other things?
Are you trying to like stream on a coffee maker?
If he's from IT, I assume not.
Maybe he's just trying to challenge himself more. Oh.
Sam, it's not time for teams of 3 yet.
No, you're talking about wanting to see cats.
The sound card is on the motherboard fried to only get sound. I'd actually install $100. Oh. Well, that sucks. All right. Well, I'm not sure what else to try for you, Gordon. It's so the mic works on my computer, just not through this extension. Oh, are there any settings within the extension if you go up to the extension options? Is there anything in there? Just check nothing. All right. Well, have a good night. Bye, Gordon.
We try.
Maybe next time.
I could get a random indie person on, probably. That desperate.
I'm not desperate. I was just like, hey, Gordon, you want to be here so you can do the intro and be that? I mean, because he's probably someone with the other point of view that hasn't looked at this full rule set and can give us the solid, like, what the fuck type responses. See? It says I'm correct. Like, what is this? Why does this make sense? Why should I care?
Right?
Well, this was gonna be a great show.
I mean, it'd still be great.
I mean, do you want me to find someone belligerent? Like, is that what we want?
I can get Nick.
I mean,
Yeah, let's get Nick.
I demolished that margarita, like a whole blender of margarita.
Do you really want me to get Nick?
4 or 5
I'm in.
shots
Get
of
him.
tequila.
I'm in control, sir.
Those
Hold
4
on.
or 5 shots of tequila are about to hit me, and we're gonna have some fun.
Sweet.
It's always fun when you finish your drink before the first drop hits your brain.
Copy invite link. New message. Do I have him? Is it Nick?
Ruvio.
I don't think I have him as a. Do I have him as a friend? Ruby.
RUIVO.
No. I'm gonna.
I thought it was Revo.
know. Here, just
Oh.
I'm gonna paste this and you can forward it to him. It's in the messenger.
Okay, hold on.
Want me to try a different computer? Oh, Gordon, I didn't know that was an option.
Huh?
Gordon says, want me to try a different computer?
Sure.
I didn't know that was an option.
Do we want you to try things that might make this work? Yes.
Yes. Why wouldn't you? God.
I'm in IT. Of course, I have a different computer.
Well, then why did you go to
thank
one
God
yet?
you picked
God
the
damn
good
it.
one first.
Of course, he picked the sound
Get
card
on here and
busted one.
defend yourself.
Oh.
Ooh, no, maybe we don't want Nick on here. Last I talked to him, he said he was having a bad night and he started drinking moonshine. So
There we go. Get him.
I don't know if it's more in or less in. Probably Porcano Los Dos.
I mean, look at the podcast we're on. So
Correct. We need some belligerence.
SHITSHOW.
that was like a well put together chant.
No, it wasn't. I'm good at chance. You should have a VR podcast.
What the hell is that?
Zach, are you going to
Is that a
Worlds?
VR thing?
Am I going to Worlds? No, because I never got an invite.
You can still go to the
You
LCQ.
could go judge. You totally could judge.
Are they going to pay me? And
Minimum
I need,
wage.
like, ooh, that's totally worth spending at least 2 days of PTO.
2 days? Try 5 days of PTO.
Yeah,
Because-
I have like 5 left for the year.
Yeah, because you have to have the last chance qualifier day 1. You have to be there the day before the last chance qualifier. And because Sunday's a thing, you have to be there. You have to travel on Monday. So it's like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Monday you have to take off.
Somebody want to get
Is Wednesday the
no.
first day, or is Thursday the first day?
I think Wednesday is.
Wednesday's LCQ day.
Wednesday's the first day, so you got to take Tuesday off too to travel.
I could have justified going like if I got qualified, but just since 2.0's come out, I've just been fucking terrible at this game. But anyways,
Chico,
Huh?
found it.
You
Found
going
it
to Worlds?
It's fun.
I'm not.
Okay.
So turns out they I was actually coming to the point that I had a good like plan with the guys there to actually go up and judge, and like it was all coming together. And then I looked up the date to put it on my schedule, and it's the weekend of my anniversary, and I
Yep.
already have a vacation scheduled and paid for that weekend. So, oops.
So mine and my wife's anniversary is the weekend after.
Mm.
So I've taken the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of World's Week off, and then we have a couple rooms booked at the Great Wolf Lodge, which is like an up north Michigan place. Pretty sweet. I've never been there. She's been there though, a couple times. We're going to stay at my father-in-law's cottage, just me and Sarah, which is like almost a halfway point to it for the Saturday and Sunday night. And then we've booked rooms one of the 2 nights of the weekdays. It's like way cheaper. So we have like a 4-day weekend, but it's the 4-day weekend starts on a Saturday, not a Friday. And we bled into Monday, Tuesday.
Sorry about that. I was apparently I go just out of range to get drinks. But yeah, my anniversary is on the 22nd.
This month or
Yeah, this
You're
month.
not married.
Well, we've been together for 6 years.
it's a formality.
I need an idea.
Oh.
X-Wing community, help me out. We got Nick a girlfriend. We can figure out an idea for me. True fact, by the way. That is a fact.
You got Ruvio a girlfriend?
Yep, through the X-Wing community.
Through the X-Wing community.
Yes, we did.
So you're trying to ask the X-Wing community to think of proposal ideas for you?
No, not proposal ideas, but something to do.
So,
Not
for the anniversary?
Yeah, it's not just like make a dinner.
maybe you should propose to her.
Got him.
Dang.
Because,
Maybe
man,
I-
if she's expecting it, you can't disappoint her any further, but then not doing it.
I could put it on a green card. Naked dinner. Kiefer knows what's up.
Eat off me.
We're cooking.
Time to get running
too.
more.
What are we doing? Frying food.
Wow. So we getting started or what?
I feel like we gotta wait for Gordon now to try his computer at least.
He said back later.
I don't know what later means.
Give him like a couple minutes. I just started my second drink.
Okay.
Nick's not responding. He's probably talking to his girlfriend or something.
So, can you tell us a story about how the X-Wing community got him a girlfriend?
I mean, sure. It seems not. It doesn't seem appropriate, but fuck it.
See, there's Gordon.
Oh, hey, here's Gordon. Story over.
Oh,
Gordon!
hey!
Strange. Your
have it now.
your
Why
camera isn't working. That's weird.
Who knows
Oh,
how long that'll
wait.
be?
That's the abuse I miss.
And do I have to tell the story now?
Yes.
Oh, the long and short of it is X-Wing player's sister-in-law. It's not that exciting of a story.
Good story.
Oh.
Good story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Tommy, you won't hear Gordon until Ryan adds
Until
him
I hit
to
the button.
thingy thing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We got you, Gordon.
Yeah.
Microphone. Gordon's microphone. Yay.
No extensions are installed in the Chrome browser either. It's just, I don't think that's necessary.
Yeah, I didn't have to do anything.
Oh, really? All right.
Yeah, it just worked. Which is pretty
Maybe
nice.
it really still is just Uncle Mark's connection.
Now, I can do the intro, but the only way I've done the intro in the past is because I had the script written down. I don't have that in front of me, and so
no.
you want me to
I
just do a
went
horrible
through
example.
the fun of writing my own intro. You sit there and enjoy it.
Well, I'll sit here.
Fair.
Okay.
You super probably won't enjoy it, but
Hey, look, we're just over 30 minutes in. Sounds like time for starting of a podcast.
What?
Everybody snap.
No.
I'm kidding.
we can go with a no response. Snap, no.
all of our no's were in unison. There you go,
We're
Montana.
good. If
Hi,
you want,
Tommy.
Gordon, their show notes, they're in the thingy.
Show notes in the thingy. Oh, that link thingy.
Yeah, that link thingy.
Oh, well, the only show notes I need are there was an FAQ. What? What does it mean to me? And then I'm done. On behalf of the X-Wing populace, what does this mean to me?
But Gordon, the first sentence should matter a lot to you in that
I know, epic, right?
epic article. Never mind.
No.
The bit.
No, but for every person that doesn't care, for everyone who doesn't care, bite me. Epic is awesome. All right.
I've
Other
played
cat.
less games of Epic than Epic ships I own, but I still like it.
Epic is fun.
Epic is neat.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I think it'll be better now.
Wait, quit wasting content. This is valuable show content. Don't discuss this now. Record.
All right,
Get us
Chico or
going.
Gordon, one of you two make up an intro.
All right, are you ready?
Yeah.
I can start and then you can cut me off.
Nope, I got it.
Got it.
Good morning, X-Wing! This is not a test. This is the Crate Lifestyle Podcast. Time to rock it from the 5K to the half marathon. Welcome, everybody, to the Crate Lifestyle, a podcast about running, jogging, walking, and even biking for you glue-eating exercisers. I'm your host, Chris Brown, and I'm here with recently running again, co-host Zach Bart. How's it going, buddy?
It's good. I like to think swimming's a lot like running, but you don't get to breathe when you want to.
That is very valid. And we'll kick it over to our other co-host, Ryan, on top of the mountain ski.
Sure. Me and my wife just talked about doing a lot of walks and runs every day, so we're on our way to the
There
Crate
you do it.
Lifestyle.
Join that lifestyle. And our other guy, maybe we'll drag him into this, Gordon.
God, you won't even call me a host. I am so out. Crate on Jesus Christ.
I told you wouldn't like it.
You are correct.
How you doing tonight?
I'm good. How's everybody doing?
Wonderful. All right, Staniszewski, I think you can take over from there. That's all.
Okay. Hi, we're OCX Radio.
Shit.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Zach.
It's okay.
I know you wanted to talk about running for a while. You're stuck here now. Gordon actually came to the right place.
The trick is you keep one foot in front of the other. That's it.
Okay, sorry, you said swimming?
Yeah.
I was an All-American swimmer through college. Is that what you're doing now as an exercise of choice as opposed to running?
No, I'm running. Swimming. I love swimming, but it takes too much effort to go to the gym, shower, change, exercise, and then shower and change again. It's a pain in the
It's like, you think it's a pain to get up and going for running. Swimming, talk about commitment, right? Because it's like more time involved, right?
Yeah, it's like an extra 40 minutes just to do it.
It is healthier for you, though. There's less stress impact on your body, right? You're less likely to get hurt.
Unless you care, unless you're doing butterfly, then it's just like eating.
Then your mask is. So, Chico, have you ever gotten like shin splints? Like when I've tried to run in the past in earnest, where that's going to be my exercise of choice, at some point I get brutally hurt.
I mean, I've had some issues. Mostly my pain comes from like above the knee. I get some pain there, but you just power through it and keep going, keep it consistent, and rest when you need to, and pop ibuprofen when you can't.
Oh, so your answer is don't be a pussy. Got it.
Absolutely. I mean, we're 3 days into the week and I've ran 25 miles. I'm getting ready for a Ragnar, bitches.
I don't care if that's a tibula popping out of your skin. You suck it up and keep running because that's what crates do.
I've got a week and a half to be ready for a 200-mile relay.
Yeah, but you're only running like 10 miles of it.
18.1. And one of them is a 10K over a mountain. So that should be fun.
That fucking sucks.
A hill or a mountain?
Huh?
Is it a hill or a mountain? I don't know of any mountains in Indiana.
Let's be honest, it's a hill. It's about a 400-foot climb over the course of a mile. So,
okay.
And then I get to spend the next mile going down the hill.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, real quick, slight derail. If you're in the chat and you want a shout out, sound off right now and we'll call your names out.
Jeez.
No.
Yes! Let's reward all 14 of these people. Come on.
Yay.
There we go.
We're starting with Josh. Josh, you got a shout out. Josh?
Yeah, shout out to Josh. He's been running like crazy. He just got a new PR for his mile and 2 mile and 1K. And man, he's been killing it.
Is that the wrong Josh?
Not that
Josh
Josh.
Kiefer?
Josh K, yeah.
Yeah, he
really?
has been destroying it in the running.
We have
group.
multiple running Joshes.
I didn't know
Wonders never cease.
Yeah.
Josh Dunn is a fucking monster, though.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not going to give a shout out to Tommy Adams. We will not say
That's
Tommy
weird because
Adams'
Josh
name.
Dunn is 6th place right now.
No
and
mentioning
I'm
of
2nd
Tommy
place.
Adams. Tommy
I
Adams.
Get on my level, Josh.
I got kicked out.
Wait, why?
I
For
don't
what?
know. Just not running, apparently.
Yeah, probably.
Turns out if you take like 10-month break because you get lazy.
Is there hazing?
No.
There's shame. If you don't run in a week, you get shamed publicly. But they haven't done that in months, which I'm kind of disappointed because that's one of those things that keeps me going.
Shout out to Matthew Schluter, who, if I recall correctly, won the OCX hyperspace trial.
With?
Congrats.
I think Imperial things that include Soontir.
Ooh.
Crap
It's
that
so
doesn't
hot right
work
now.
anymore.
Wait, really?
Yeah. No, he won with Vader,
Oh,
Soontir, Duchess.
I was playing with Soontir earlier today. I think I like the new list.
Okay. Hi, Chris. Hi, Sam. Hi, Eli. We're done. Oh, and Michael. All right. Good. All right. So
yeah,
what's this X-Wing thing
We got to
you guys
get
are
into the
talking about?
excitement now.
Yeah,
It was an epic article. Are you excited, Gordon?
I am. I'm super excited.
Gordon, are you ready to be in the captain's chair?
No. Whose burden is that? Does anyone even listen to my show, even though I only put out 2 episodes a year? Who's in the captain's chair for Kentucky?
You didn't get the joke. That's the name of the article, damn it.
I don't care. It's too on the nose. I'm out as far as Outrider captain.
I mean, whenever that happens.
Right?
All right.
Just
I
don't
mean,
ask me when Cross.
You could get Roethlisberger to do it. I hear he's not doing anything right now.
Correct.
Oh, God.
Ah,
You know what? I know where you live. I'm going to get you, Chris.
I've seen where he sleeps.
Please show up. I could use a hug.
I bet.
All right. So let's get the epic stuff out of the way here. Gordon, what do you like from what you've seen so far?
You want an honest answer?
Yes.
Haven't seen it yet.
Then what do you?
You wanted the average man point of view. I'm going to deliver that in spades. I
There's
don't
a
know.
link to the article right there.
Read it.
So I will say that the one thing I am super sad about is all of my acrylic epic movement templates are worthless now because they made a different shape.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me sad.
One thing I'm really happy about is that they made it so you have a different activation and engagement thing. I think that's really cool.
That is really sweet that they are separate engagement and activation numbers, which I don't know if that'll ever translate to the regular game, but I think it makes sense for Epic.
Did you see like shields regen like every round?
Yeah, like this Outer Rim Patrol craft right here for the, what's it called? The Raider. It's got 2 arrows on energy and shields.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
revitalizes.
so much hull.
It's 20 hull with 0 agility.
Yeah.
It gets 2 actions a turn. It's got 2 times above all its actions.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, it makes it like a huge centerpiece of Epic, which is what we've all wanted. We want the Epic ships to be epic, because if they're not, it's just people bringing 800 points of whatever ship they like.
Are
You
these-
know,
are these things,
some jackoffs coming to a world's Epic tournament and they only bring defenders. I mean, what's wrong with people?
Are these things turning more than they used to be able to?
Yes, 45 instead of 30.
Yeah, that graphic's nuts.
Mm-hmm. And then the a lot of the upgrades and stuff are they give you like double actions, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and I do like how like some of these like some of these turrets seem pretty dang powerful.
I like the fact that they go offline. I think that's really cool.
That's one of the big things too. I feel like when you're attacking some of these points on a ship, you can actually attack the upgrade itself individually. You're attacking the turret, you're attacking parts and hard points of the ship.
Do you guys get the sense that, sorry to interrupt, do you guys get the sense that you could field, if you put enough upgrades on it, just the epic ship, and you could maybe actually win a match with it? Because remember how it used to be? We would bring our epic ship, but then you had to figure out, and my 8 defenders, right, Chris? Remember that?
No. We had no epic ship. We only had defenders.
Okay, that's true. But it seemed like a good list really needed a good mix of both squadrons and epic ship.
Yeah,
Do you think we will be able to wield just an epic ship and maybe be okay?
Not just an epic ship.
I don't think you'll be able to point out that much. My best guess. Because if you looked at like they did a playthrough of an epic list, and some of them had a lot of upgrades on their epic ship, and they still had like 4 more ships.
Gotcha. Yep.
So I don't know.
Okay. See, Ryan, you can't have dead air. You got to talk, buddy.
It's true.
It's fine. I'm reading.
Yep. Nope.
I'll get a cat. Let me get a cat.
Gordon, what do you think of? So if you're looking through some of this, have you seen the other article yet?
No.
There was an
I've been
original
in
one.
fantasy football mode, dude. I don't have time for X-Wing.
Whatever.
How about that local sport team?
All right. I'm going to give you the other article.
Send the other article.
I have third cat.
Got it. You have 3 cats?
2 are mine. 1 is Hanny's.
Oh, gotcha.
This is Hanny's cat. He's never been on a podcast before.
This
is Ollie.
Look at that baby.
He's so nice. He sounds like a pigeon when he purs. It's adorable.
Not to derail the epic talk, but this is more important. Kitties. Do all of the cats get along, or was there a little bit of
Oh no, George hates everyone.
Oh great. Okay. Sorry
The
to
other
hear
2
that.
get along fine.
All right. The weight of the Empire. God, I love the Raider.
It's pretty neat.
The Raider's the best.
This one probably makes more sense. Bigger battles. It's the overall first announcement article. So another big piece of this is it looks to me that there are damage cards where the base damage thing is on the bottom, but then there's precision damage, right?
20 hull and 8 shields. Did I read that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And the shields regenerate 2 per turn.
Well, but we used to be able to do that last time if you paid for it with energy.
Right.
I don't think you have to pay for it with energy.
You don't. It's just automatic now.
Oh, that was true. In Epic before, you kind of had to pick where the energy was going to go. Were you going to be offensive with it? Were you going to be defensive with it? Reinforced, that kind of stuff. Now, if that's automatic, that's awesome.
It just powers your upgrades now.
Sweet.
And then the damage cards, when you suffer crits, what you do is based off if you were attacked in the front or the bottom, you either show the top half or the bottom half of the card.
I thought it was the top half was like a precision shot type.
Oh, so we're not doing 2 different damage decks for like fore and aft?
It's 1 damage deck. I believe the top half is the fore of the ship. Like if you're in front of the line, and the back half.
That's smart if only for just production costs, right? Now you don't have to print twice as many cards and it's cheaper to make, if anything. Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
The T-65 lands critical damage on the Imperial Raider. This attack comes from the Raider's side arc, so it must apply the precision shot effect in addition to its primary effect, flipping its turbo laser battery upgrade to its offline side. Huh.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. The precision
so it does
shot
both things.
The precision shot will, like, if you attacked from that side, it'll be completely random, too. Like, some of them are front, back. Some of them are real weird.
Disable a turret.
Oh, so like depending on the card you draw, if the top half is on a certain side that you attack from, you will do extra thing. That's interesting.
I like it.
Let's get Merrick Steele in there, boys.
Oh, I look forward to the next Outrider. It'll be good.
That'll be cool.
Even if Kentucky doesn't have a team, I'll show up. I'll watch. It's awesome.
Wait, like there needs to be a misfit team, kind of like Europe. has
No,
a misfit
no,
team.
no. That's not the point of
Could
Outrider.
run it.
Bite your tongue. Bite your tongue.
Uh,
Their misfit team was called the United Nations.
exactly.
Uh,
Okay, so I say we move on. That
Yeah.
was more of a percentage that we've spent on Epic than most people will spend on Epic in their X-Wing career. So
Probably.
Epic is great. Play Epic.
it's fun.
it
God,
is.
you know what
Everybody
I hope-
should give it a shot. But
You know what? They won't do it, but I wish they do quick build Epic. Just
There is
Dump-
quick build in there.
Oh, even better. Then you don't have to give yourself a headache about it. Just dump it and play.
there you go.
Great. Tommy, make it happen.
Nice.
All right.
All right. So now we're moving on to rules changes. The real excitement, and I guess we'll just thanks.
Unnecessary shrew.
Why are you typing that in the show notes?
I don't know.
Do you want to share something with the rest of us, Zach?
This is probably the only podcast you could get away with saying.
This is a safe environment, Zach. It's okay.
What? I mean,
Uh-huh.
I don't think that's appropriate to share with the greater X-Wing community.
Okay.
All right.
So
type it
we're
in the
jumping
thing.
into this this FAQ change. And Gordon, you know nothing about any of this?
Pretend? No, there's no pretending. I know nothing about any of this. So take me along as if
Any of
I'm a brand new player, man on the street, and you need to explain things to me so that I can understand.
All right. Well, we're going to start with the really exciting one, and probably the one that's going to take up the most time, just because it's first in the document. The ability queue. You're familiar with the ability queue.
Nope.
When you have some event trigger, you take all the cards that apply to it, throw it in the ability queue in whatever order you want to, and then you go through and execute them in order. Well,
This is hang on, not to derail you. You're assuming that me as the player has multiple abilities within that queue. You're not talking about me and my opponent and trying to figure out who goes first or anything, right?
I'm just talking about you right now. Like, say you have Anakin, and he's got his ability and fine tune controls, and so he can
Afterburners.
and afterburners and all those things that happen.
The order's up
all
to
at
me.
the
Got
same
it.
time.
Okay, go.
So they've changed it now so that the moment that you check if an ability is valid to trigger is when you place it into the queue, not when it pops out of the queue to be executed. So, for instance, like Anakin, where his bullseye can allow him to do things. Before you could barrel roll, get that bullseye, and do the bullseye thing. Now you have to check the bullseye before it's even added to the queue, and so even if you could have barrel rolled and when you go to execute it, you would have been in the bullseye. You can't do it now because all of the requirements have to be checked at the moment of adding them to the queue.
Back up. How is that different than Sunter barrel rolling to see if he's got something in the bullseye arc to trigger, say, Predator or his focus?
Well, because those are future triggers.
Mhm.
We're talking about things that happen at the exact same time.
The easiest
So
one.
let's do another example.
Yeah.
Start of engagement. You have your list is Ketsu, Terok, and Cavill, right? Both Ketsu and old Terok's abilities trigger at start of engagement. Where Ketsu says, I have someone in my front arc with my mobile arc pointed there. I can put a tractor token on them. Originally, you could put a tractor token on them, move them into old T's arc at range 1, and then strip their tokens away.
Right.
Now, they're both start of engagement. Old Terok has to fulfill that there is someone in his range 1 arc, which isn't there before the queue begins, which means he will not be able to trigger his ability when Ketsu moves someone into it.
So is there a simpler way of saying everything needs to be set up and active? I don't know how to phrase it. Go ahead.
Think
Zach.
of it this way: in order to resolve all of your effects, you have to be able to resolve them in any order.
Yes,
can't be
that's a good way
dependent
to
upon
put
a
it, too.
sequential order,
Yeah.
like what he just said. You can't have Ketso move the dude, then get Tarek's benefit. So either you satisfied all the conditions right at the start, or you just simply don't get them.
Yep.
Right.
Like the
So
big one.
you can't chain them, basically.
Correct.
Yes.
The
All
two
right.
big ones are like you can't use afterburners to clear Anakin's stress, and you can't like super chain and snare.
That's one of the big ones. Because you could theoretically, I don't know how much you've looked into the Nantex fighters and the Snare, but you can transfer tractor tokens to other ships, including friendly. So the thought was you could transfer a tractor to one guy, then he transferred to another guy, and then transfer to another guy. Just barrel reposition yourself with your own
remember when the
tractors all over
preview
place.
article came out, that was the conclusion everyone drew.
Yes, but with this ruling, that's not true because Ensnare requires you to have a tractor token before that starts. And if only one of them does and you're trying to hot potato it to each other, it won't work.
So now people are just going to fly Sunfac, not necessarily a ton of Nantex.
Well, there's some other changes that make Sunfac not as good.
And more reasonable to bring more of them.
Yep.
But we'll get to those.
Right. So now moving on to the next one, and this one's pretty short. Ships now have simultaneous fire when resolving an ability queue. So it used to be that sorry, somebody posted something. I'm lost.
Stupid Australians.
Yeah, so it used to be if you got destroyed like in the systems phase by somebody dropping a bomb on you, then you were gone, even if you were planning on dropping a bomb or doing something else. Now, if somebody drops a bomb on you and you die, you could still drop your bomb because your thing was added to the queue, and the whole queue has to resolve before ships are taken off.
I didn't know that was a thing. Are you saying whoever had the first player marker was clearing something away in the systems phase before? I didn't know that.
Right. Or
I didn't know ships went away then before they had their chance.
Or like people who were like causing attacks to happen, and doing some crazy thing with like quick draw and like all of those attacks that can now happen outside of the engagement phase because of
because he went over a rock and then triggered his ability to shoot. Yeah.
So those things, like if there's something in the ability queue, you go through and fulfill all of it before you take ships off.
So Chico, then this one probably will come into play as now snapshots part of the game.
Yep.
Is the simultaneous fire, say in the activation phase, if someone activates and they die from snapshot, are they dead then? Or did we roll through the entire activation phase until they die?
Not the entire activation phase, just through that queue.
They would die at the end of their execute maneuver step. So if you killed Rick, he would get to perform his evade action, and then he'd die.
Okay.
Okay, so what do you think the most common reaction is? Because I know what my reaction is, and I don't know if I'm speaking on behalf of everybody. But what do you think the common reaction to all this is going to be?
For just that part?
No, just in general.
I mean, everything so far, a lot of people are going to just say what?
Thank you. Another way of saying this is like, what happened to the beer and pretzels game, and it's suddenly now super complicated, and we don't even have a flowchart like what we had in first edition. Things have just dialed up. Okay, let's come at this from a different thing. You've got a brand new player that you're trying to get into the game. It's like you're describing that scene in Monty Python's Meaning of Life when they're in the classroom and the teacher's talking about which coat goes on which peg and your brother and the note from home and everything. This is nuts.
So as much as we think this is complicating things, I think it's more so just changing things.
Mm-hmm.
The way Zach put it before, you're going to have less of the daisy chaining combinations that confuse players and more of the straightforward, this is available to me or this is not available to me after X trigger window is open, right?
Doesn't a chain reaction of abilities kind of make sense? As a gamer, aren't you used to comboing things? Doesn't that kind of make sense?
It may in our minds and certain, but I mean, there's a difference in comboing things off of potential like different interactions that happen throughout a turn, but in same trigger window, and you can choose any order of operations and you'll get the outcome you want. Like some of this is going to likely make this easier on some people's minds. Some won't. It depends on the person.
The thing that's really bothering me, and like Tim alerted me to it, and like we're kind of talking about it on here, but the fact that cards don't have a defined, this is my requirement, this is the thing that happened, is leaving it confusing for some people. I mean, for instance, to go back to your example of Terok and Ketsu, and that's what we're talking about here. Like old Terok says, at the start of the engagement phase, you may choose one enemy ship at range 1. Is that its requirement? That's it? Just range 1? And then if you do, and you are in its front arc, it removes all its green tokens. Does it still have to be in the front arc to be added to the queue or not? Like, is that part of the requirement, or is that part of the execution of the ability? Is like, what's the fucking requirement? Just like, right. If you want requirements to have to be fulfilled, it needs to say requirement, thing, ability, thing. I mean,
so you think this is solved with just a couple keywords to trigger what part of the game we're in?
I would love that. I play so many board games outside of X-Wing, and a lot of them have the one that I love as an example, and of course I just lost it. Cosmic Encounter. Mm-hmm. Cosmic Encounters has amazing keyword abilities. They define everything. Like, there are so many abilities and intertwining things, but they manage to figure it out by saying, here are your steps, and we are giving you keywords to solve every fucking thing.
And ironically, FFG is the publisher now of Cosmic Encounter, and you think that this wouldn't be lost on them.
Right. I can't believe that they give us abilities in like one big long sentence with the word if in between, and just think we'll figure it out.
Precog. I think that Armada does it well. If you look at that, like, it has Armada and Legion. They all have keywords for ships, not ships. Oh yeah, ships and units that specify like, oh hey, you have this rogue thing. That means you're allowed to do this. I think they could have saved a lot of headache with upgrades and shit like that if they're like, oh, you have to have like a freighter type ship, or a superiority craft or whatever. But we're past that.
Yeah,
keywords would be great. But
yeah, I don't know.
All right, so are we moving on to the next part of it?
Sure.
So we have, simply put, min and max dice are applied last when determining the dice to roll. So if it specifically says a minimum or specifically says a maximum, that is always going to, is the way I'm reading it, overrule anything else that would have added or subtracted to it.
Right. There were some people trying to come up with loopholes of, oh, this weapon has a max of this, but then I have some other abilities that can add dice over here. So it's only a max of that, but then I can add with this. And it's like, no. It's like, the max is set, the max is done.
Mm-hmm. So pretty much, I think the big example was I tried to do 7th Fleet Gunner with a CLT Jedi, where the max is 4 when you roll, but you add the 1 with CLT.
You can still do that, can't you?
You think so?
Because that's setting up the dice pool. Once you've created your dice pool, you roll your dice. That maximum, you are out of that step. You are now in the modified dice step.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did specifically put that magenta paragraph in just roll attack dice, not modify. So, all right.
Modify can still add.
Let me pull this stuff up really quick.
Yeah.
So I think that one's fairly simple.
Yeah, pretty simple.
Yeah, you're limited. Like, you can't like, Jan Ors and do 7th Fleet Gunner and do all that stuff. Like, if you're already range 1, rolling 4 attack dice, you can't 7th Fleet Gunner up to 5.
Correct.
Or I can't think what else gives you extra attack dice. This is really specifically for Republic.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think of anything that specifically has a maximum, right?
Like if they come out with cruise missile again.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I thought there was some weapon that had a max.
The title for gunboats.
Yep.
Which title?
Dice.
The cannon one.
Cannon one, max 3 dice. So if there's a way to give extra attack dice, which I don't think there is in Empire.
Right. Or there's some ship that says your opponent can only roll as many dice as you rolled, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's setting a max, and then all of a sudden, oh, I see your max, but then I somehow add things.
Mm-hmm. As long as you're doing it, I think I talked about this at some other podcast. You can think of the roll dice step as its own thing. And after you have passed the roll dice step, you no longer have dice. What you have is you have results. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, whatever abilities you have, whether if you're Finn, you're adding blank results. You're not adding dice. You are adding a result. That result is physically added by putting a die on the table, and now you can do whatever you want to modify those results. But the only way to modify them is by, physically modifying the die. You are re-rolling a result. You are not adding dice or anything like that. So if it helps to think of it that way, I find that, that's where it makes life a little bit easier.
Yeah, I'd agree. Okay. So this next one I tossed in because I'm not sure. Like there are a couple things in here. I don't know why they put them on, and this one confused me. So if the ship is destroyed, and now here's the red part, at an initiative step during the engagement phase, the ship isn't removed until the end, until all ships in the attacker's initiative have engaged. What was going on that was necessary?
Biggs?
Like the only piece that's added is at an initiative step. So the sentence, if a ship is destroyed at an initiative step during the engagement phase, so on and so forth. That at an initiative step is the
What if
only
there was
piece
some
that's
crit
added.
and you had to satisfy a condition? Because what's the one where when you activate you roll because you didn't get rid of it during your action step? And then console fire. Right.
So you're thinking console fire isn't an initiative step?
Well, initiative step isn't that defined as when you go at your turn?
I don't know what an initiative
There's
step
no such thing as an initiative step. It's just when in the sequence is each ship going to fire depending on their initiative number.
Honestly, that might be one of the things they added just for clarity's sake.
Well, it's confusing me.
Like, I think the easiest ones are if you look at, like, let's say you did damage to Null with, like, an Initiative 7 Han before he shoots. Then Null gets pushed to 0. And then let's say you have Corrin, who then shoots him at Initiative 0. He still gets to engage at Initiative 0.
What about Torko Mux?
What about
Torko Mux? Isn't that all the rage now?
Question then: if Han Gunner was having a ship shoot at Initiative 7, that Initiative step has already occurred. Would Null stay shooting at 7 or no?
I'd shoot at 0.
But if he was dead, he doesn't stick around till 0.
Well, I mean, you assume he takes 1 hull damage. You assume that he gets changed down to Initiative 0, so he no longer gets simultaneous fire at 7.
Right. All right.
Okay, just because we can't come up with it, don't you think they are responding to specific questions that got to their attention, and they are addressing that by rephrasing?
But having access to those questions makes us all, realize it instead of someday that finally pops up and we're like,
then we'd have nothing to do and wouldn't have an excuse to get together and talk to each other.
Well,
Come on now.
Generally, like clarifications like this is because someone else messed it up enough, and FFG was made aware of it and had to re-clarify it.
So if you die by console fire, do you still get to shoot?
Yes.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
And then there's another weird one. you can now kill a. So you've always been able to do it, but this also covers for the fact that you can kill a ship. You can kill a ship while attacking before they get the chance to roll defense dice. For like, if you have what is it, the prototype in Empire, or if you have the one X-wing pilot who flips crits by spending tokens.
What about the Wampa TIE fighter, Sane Brandon with marksmanship or whatever?
Yeah, Thane. Thane, if you flip a direct hit, technically they died during the ability queue. And we go to this new FAQ that says if you die during the ability queue, you're removed at the end of the ability queue. Well, we need something that, still says you get simultaneous fire. So maybe that's covering that.
Okay. I feel like we've put more thought into it than it's necessary.
I think so.
You know what I'm gonna do?
Huh.
If I come across any of these issues in a tournament?
Call judge and annoy the shit out of me?
Not you. I'll just ask Tommy. Tommy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm covered. I don't know about you fuckers, but I've got this.
Basically, tell Tommy to take notes.
Not worry about it. No, you can't take notes during a game.
I'm going to retain a scoreboard. I'm not taking notes.
Oh, God, tangent. Okay, so they've also clarified for barrel rolls and boost that the barrel roll can fail itself, and then also the action can fail. I guess there were some scenarios where they used to say that the barrel roll action could fail. Somebody was like, "Well, I'm just doing a barrel roll, not a barrel roll action. It can't fail." So now the action can also fail.
Basically, Naboo Starfighter Anakin pilot.
Or decloaks.
Also that.
Yeah, that too.
Even though it explicitly shows in the rules on decloaking, you can fail.
Yeah. Those were always a weird one. But yeah, that was just clarified. Easy peasy. Nothing crazy there.
You want a needlessly complicated one?
No, don't.
Sure.
Fun.
Can Sun Fac barrel roll himself onto a debris?
Yes.
Well, he can barrel roll himself on. Oh, Well, so
it's a tractor beam
here's
barrel
the thing.
roll.
There's
Ryan,
rule that
can you tractor beam yourself and not rotate?
Yeah, because if you fail to rotate,
that's
then
right.
You haven't done the thing, so you can't do the cost to do the thing. So therefore, you can't, and it puts you in this weird catch-22 of.
So in order of operations, wouldn't you have you can take the tractor token and not move yourself?
Right.
So I think you'd have to be able
to, and you land on the debris, then suddenly you get a stress, and that tractor has completed. But now you need to rotate your arc, and if you don't rotate your arc, which you can't do because you can't do red actions, or you can't do actions while stressed, then you failed the second half. So therefore, you're not allowed to do the cost. But the cost was this barrel roll of obnoxiousness, and you're really going to put yourself back and just
But okay, so after you execute a maneuver, you may gain one tractor token to perform a rotate. So you would gain the tractor. Would you immediately then, next would be performing the rotate and then deciding if you're moving yourself with tractor token?
No, as soon as you get the tractor token, it does the thing.
Mm-hmm. I believe you have to fully resolve the tractor effect before you rotate.
Well, then debris are paradoxes. Because I know I can do it through a gas cloud.
Yup.
And a rock, because it's not in my perform action step.
Yup.
But I choose to do it through gas clouds.
So don't bring debris?
Correct.
Pretty much.
I mean, if you're bringing Sunfok, you're bringing rocks anyway.
Correct.
Yeah, so weird. I don't know. I don't want to have to answer that one. Nobody do that at an event I'm judging.
Don't be dumb.
Yeah, so I'll just flip a coin in my head and.
I mean, I guess there's a weird situation where Sunfok could be arc dodging on a debris in a game-breaking situation where you have to do it, but you have to be able to move your arcs. So then what?
Mm-hmm. Weird.
How would you call that, Chico, if you were at a tournament?
I'm not dealing with that right now.
Oh, well, and your players
I
don't know what to
do. I don't know.
What kind of an Illuminati judge are you?
One that hasn't thought about it yet because it came out today.
But you have to make a game day decision.
If I had to do a game day decision, seems like you're rolling back that tractor beam.
Okay.
I don't like it.
You're...
But based on requirements have to happen.
Get back to a legal game state.
Yeah, it's dumb. But ugh. Okay, so now for a moment of comedy to interlude. Devices. The first sentence says devices are objects that exist in the play area and are represented by cardboard markers. So get wrecked, all of you people that have gotten tournament prizes of acrylic bombs. You can't use them now because only cardboard is allowed. They specifically said it. The word cardboard. Yep. Get wrecked.
No longer a device.
Judge, I want a disqualification. My
I'm
opponent
sure Tommy's
is
happy with it. How many times I've disqualified his asteroids? Every tournament he's at, he's like, "Hey, can I use these?" I'm like, "No, Tommy."
Like, no, they only. If anything, they only make
Like,
it worse to deal with.
Your beautiful acrylic asteroids, can't use them.
So much worse to deal with when you're trying to help judge, and then they're just like, "Oh yeah, we gotta mark things around these thicker acrylic obstacles." Thanks.
Whatever. So they've changed this whole device section. Just because like they used to have like bombs and mines, and now it's devices and payloads, and it's mostly just a terminology change. But they did clarify that only one device per system phase can be dropped or placed, because they're combining launch and drop. It just leaves open other options, which they mentioned the FAQ later. Situations where somebody dropped a bomb during the systems phase, but then later on they can also drop a bomb for whatever other reason. So it's just saying that can happen. They also have the payload portion they mentioned, which I assume payload is just a way of lumping together mines and bombs into one term.
Yeah. We were looking up the payload definition earlier to see if they were future-proofing anything. And maybe because it deals with supplies and by Google definition or whatever, like supplies and
I think
or whatever.
I think there's an interesting thing that it looked like they put in some rules for like placing asteroids and placing obstacles and stuff. So I have a feeling we might be seeing some stuff that allows you to, some cards can also place obstacles during the game in the same manner as devices, or some. It seems like maybe they're adding some more stuff.
Well, I mean, they do have that whole card pack coming out that deals with placing like obstacles that weren't there before, or moving them around potentially. Maybe it's up.
Bring back cluster mines.
Yeah.
Daddy knows.
TLT is next.
No.
Except now there's 4 of them.
Quad laser turrets.
I mean, Destiny got
3 dice
laser
4
turret.
times.
It's bullseye only, and it has to like move really slowly, and it can only be fired from the moon. That was a deep reference. I'm sorry.
Nice. So they also put in an extremely long paragraph to basically say, if something says to drop a bomb, you do what the bomb card says. You don't get some free bomb. Evidently people were trying to do that, so it needed 5 lines of text to say, no, you do what the bomb says.
But what if my card says to reload, not perform the reload action?
Jesus, no.
Go away. Just go away.
I'm tired of those people.
Okay, so Ryan, you want to jump into our next thing, the
Yep.
fun one?
So I like this one a lot because it, eases up and clarifies everything, so there are no bullshit shenanigans happen with this anymore. When a ship is ionized, meaning they've completed the full amount of ion tokens that ship can have, whether it's small, medium, or large base ship, that ship can only, at all times, no matter what you want to think or do, people who try to argue you want to modify your dice somehow with midnight with target locks, this is at all 100%. When you're ionized, you can only focus. No precog, no supernatural, no advanced sensors, no getting coordinated before you complete the ionized move. You are only focusing unless you get coordinated afterwards. No linked actions.
Well, now you can only do focus actions out of any actions. You can still do other things if they're not actions.
Mm-hmm. Like Anakin. Young
Correct.
Anakin still
Barrel
works.
roll is not an action for his
Young
ability.
Anakin's barrel roll is not an action.
Coordinating.
That will ion because that's a cool trick.
All right, back up. What's an example of a focus linked action?
Tie advanced has focus linked to barrel roll.
Yeah.
So, by your definition, you just said after the focus has happened. So, could they take their focus action and then link into the barrel roll?
They clarified that no linked actions can be done off the focus.
So what they said is an ionized ship cannot perform any action except the focus action. And they explicitly now state that the ion token is removed after your ship finishes its activation, which is after the perform action step.
Yep.
So if you have advanced sensors, you can, you still can't, because advanced sensors is before you reveal your dial. If you had a thing that was before you activate, you may perform an action, that would work, but only to perform the focus action.
Yes, it's only allowing you to focus. So if someone set up an ion to bump you so you get no actions, advanced sensors can allow you to at least focus or get coordinated only a focus. But then there's no action you can do after that unless you get coordinated again outside of your activation.
Well, so as long as the ion token's in place, you're only permitted to do the focus action regardless of the when, basically. And until activation is done, you're still only allowed the focus, regardless of the when. Once the token goes away, then all kinds of stuff can happen. Coordinate, whatever.
Yes. So as soon as you have 1, 2, or 3 things, so like let's say for some odd reason you've decided to bring the Virago title. You're wrong, but the Virago title lets you boost during the end phase. If you're ionized, if you have 1 ion token because you got hit with an ion weapon during the engagement phase, you cannot trigger Virago title because that's not a focus action.
Oh, hey, look, Yasby already changed their thing to payload.
Yeah, they did.
Good.
Also, so another one, a little bit of buff for this that's never seen real play, Connor nets. So if you drop a Connor net on someone or they run through it in the turn you've dropped it, right, they would gain 3 ion tokens and suffer a damage. Once it lands on them or they move through it, they're ionized. That turn, even though they can do the regular maneuver because it's what's on the dial right now and it's been placed, they still can only do focus actions. And then next turn, they'd have to resolve the ionized by only doing the 1 blue straight and still only doing a focus action. So that got a bit of a extra buff beyond the regular ion applying effects currently. Turfiner, he likes doing actions after shooting, not if he got ionized by someone shooting him before.
Yep.
And no one's going to play Connor net anyway. All right, so.
Right, yeah.
You can't have a lock on yourself. Well, why not?
Because people were being dumb. And they originally said you can't target lock yourself.
But what if I get past the target lock from what's her face?
Yeah.
Oh, Manaroo.
It was so dumb. So they just said, nope, no, you can't. So they just closed that loophole. Thank God.
You're telling me my matchstick can't target lock himself to get free rerolls?
Yeah, no, it
They
can't.
just have everyone else target lock him. Matchstick is secret. Is like sneaky good, I think.
And broadside. Hey, look, they can carry ion cannon turrets. It just got a lot better.
Did
Oh,
ion
I
cannon
tried-
turrets get a lot better?
Just ionizing effect, right? All of us are pretty concerned about precog, and basically the big things in the meta potentially right now. Precognitive reflexes is super cheap. Supernatural reflexes still get used by a few people. Fine-tuned controls by Jedi, like they get ionized the next turn, they can't use fine-tuned controls. It's of no use to them.
Yeah, but the thing that sucks about ion is the mechanic's just lame. You've got to get so many max hits in there where the hits are punching through to get the effect. It's like how many times when you shot with the ion cannon, it's like, well, I hit you, but I never ioned you.
Well,
It's just
right.
bad.
Why you look at some of the efficient Republic Y-Wings is actually a solid source of real ionizing.
Yep. Like matchstick and broadside can definitely get those 2+ hits in.
Mm-hmm. You know what's pretty sweet? You can put snapshot on both of them. That's better than veteran turret gunner.
Is it? Probably.
It's one point. It's 1 point less, and you can shoot out the front and still point the turrets out the side.
I mean, true.
I don't know. It's just
And
something I was.
And then you can take 7th Fleet.
You could. Then
like
they get a
seven.
lot
I
more
really-
expensive.
I like 7th Fleet on them. I ran 7th Fleet on Goji today. It's actually a lot of fun.
You must have had a lot of bombs there with your Goji.
Just one set of seismics. I reloaded them like 4 times.
Makes sense.
No, but what if you just took 4 Y-Wings, dropped a whole bunch of proximity mines, just spun in circles, rolling 8 dice on defense? You'd never lose.
I mean, his ability is a there or not. You don't get the extra die. You don't get like 4 extra dice.
Yeah, you do.
No,
4
it
each.
stacks.
It says 4 each
Wait.
for each friendly bomb.
Yeah, but you can. Shit.
But good luck setting it up. Good luck executing it.
Someone will.
And then good luck if a judge doesn't call stalling on you.
Right. Just don't do that. Anyways, where were we? Okay, so obstacles. Yes, they still trigger if it's dropped on you. How many times did we have to argue this with people? It's like, but it's only moving. It's only moving. If you're not moving, it doesn't do anything. Like, no, it does. And now they've explicitly put it in there after we finally forced them to a dozen times. God, that's frustrating.
Yeah, well, people.
I'm just glad it was finally stated in like 3 paragraphs over and over.
Like we're going to make sure this goes into your head, but trust me, there'll be people who don't end up reading this because more casual players, and they're like, "Well, I don't believe you. This doesn't feel right."
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time I met a casual X-Wing player.
So Ryan,
Yes.
this portion about remotes. Anything on that?
They just clarified it for people who have not experienced remotes before, probably. Like, ships can move through them and be at range 0, and it's, yeah.
Like, you can barrel roll onto a pro droid to shoot it.
Okay.
That's
You mean to shoot it or to trigger? It's like
to trigger the overlap effect.
Yeah, the overlap effect on the probe droid is if it's move. I think it's move and maneuver.
Yeah,
I know it's at least maneuver.
it's if you move onto it.
Yeah, so you can barrel roll or boost onto it, and you can still trigger. It's you roll dice on an eyeball, it gets destroyed. Yeah, after enemy ship overlaps you at all, doesn't even have to be a move or maneuver. So I don't know what other overlap trigger could be, but
Hi, Nami.
oh, hi Nami.
Hi Nami. Welcome to the Crate Lifestyle podcast.
Oh, you missed the best opening ever. You would have loved it.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell? You bastards get a high and I don't get one.
Because
Nope.
he doesn't see
Because
you, because
you're
you
not
don't
on
use a
the video.
camera.
He can fucking read.
But actually, I don't think he can.
There's
Our
no
stream-
words that say Gordon on
Yeah,
here.
you're just a little OCX.
Is that just? Oh, is that just on us?
Do not tell Gordon the only way people know he exists is if he talks. 'Cause
Oh man!
Oh, no.
If I'd known that, I would have shut up. Oh damn! All right.
it's over. Game over,
Yeah,
man.
Too late. Too late.
Game over, man.
Nami Gordon.
Only in our studio does it have my name. It's not there for the for everyone to see.
Yeah,
It's
you
just
can
okay.
see the-
Well
you
then,
can see the stream output if you look at the
Oh.
screen where it says stream output.
but what about my indignation? No, never mind.
Yeah, Ryan.
Sorry, just
Put a
follow the blue light home.
Steelers fan and put Gordon's name on it.
There you go.
Put a what?
A picture of a sad Steelers fan.
Sad
All of them.
Steelers fan.
There you
Okay,
go.
so while you're going into that, I'll go on to the next thing. Strain. So it just has one sentence. It says "Get fucked, Finn." Right?
So,
I was gonna say this is for Finn, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not
Correct.
entirely get fucked, but he's not as
Hold on.
demonstrative as
Nami
he was
just added
before.
himself that he doesn't listen to my podcast. Yes, I'm a Steelers fan. All right, continue. Go.
Jeez.
So yeah, like he had that broken thing where he could use his ability on defense and the token just instantly disappeared. Well, they've changed around strain so that doesn't happen.
You have to play the game now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you actually
You have to
use
make
the
real
effect.
decisions.
Sure you do.
Yeah, but they've also stated later on that if an effect, like if you have 0 agility and a strain token, you're still trying to use the strain to lower your agility, so it still gets rid of it, even though it effectively did nothing.
Which is fine. The ghost and the decimator need as much as help as they can get.
Yeah, but I mean, like Tommy says in here is like Finn got dropped a little bit, but he's still pretty good.
I mean,
Like,
30 points for him with heroics, still pretty solid.
And then you do like Kova for 12 points.
Right.
Yeah, we'll get to the Kova thing, but Kova just got a cheaper option.
Mm-hmm.
So next, Tractor got weird. Went from weird to normal, I think.
Yeah.
But it was like a decent nerf to it. So it used to be when you tractored somebody, if they got 1 token, their agility dropped by 1.
Yep.
When they got enough tokens, depending upon their size, they got the tractored effect.
So they could be
being
moved. Right.
Now it's all just size based, 1, 2, or 3 based on your size.
I still have no idea what you're saying.
So
there used to be 2 different pieces to being tractor beamed. When you got 1 token, your agility was dropped by 1.
No matter what ship size you want.
No
Is
matter
that
what
gone
size
away
you were.
now?
yes.
That's gone.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's not gone completely. It's now 100% all of the tractor effects are based on the ship size. So if you're medium base and you have 1 tractor token, it literally does nothing to you. If
You're
you
not
have-
getting reduced in agility.
yes.
In addition to not getting moved yet.
Yeah.
So, okay.
If you can be moved, you're lowering your agility. That's
Gotcha.
it.
All right.
Yeah,
And I think that's good.
Yeah, well, it cleaned it up, but it makes tractor beams a lot worse, and they weren't really great to begin with.
Well, they kind of needed to be nerfed a little bit, I think. Otherwise, everyone would just be running Sunfac and a bunch of ultras.
Well,
Yeah. Now the
That's the
vultures
reason
have
that card is 0 points, though. Like as an ability on those Nantex is like, yes, being tractor beamed can suck, but like the tractor beam weapon itself is such an embarrassment.
Well, let's table this for a moment. Let's finish off the FAQ FAQ, and then I think we should segue into the Sun Focalypse.
Hold on. I have a series of escalating complicated questions regarding this once we finish this before we move into Sunfac.
Alrighty, go for it.
No, he like.
Oh,
he
you
wants,
mean
he wants to
later
use it
on?
as a transition or bridge or whatever.
Oh,
no,
God.
no, I really do. Okay.
No,
so-
about tractor beams or
About
other
tractor
things? Okay, go for it.
Okay. So the way it is stated right now, the first time a ship becomes tractored each round, you get to do the effect. Okay. So so basically, if I put Ketsu Anyo on something.
Oh, the crew, Ketsu crew that allows you to keep a tractor token around on an opponent.
You don't keep one, you keep all of them.
Is that what it says?
It says, so Ketsu Anyo crew. At the start of the end phase, you may choose one enemy ship at range 0 to 2 in your firing arc. If you do, that ship does not remove its tractor tokens.
Okay,
Plural.
multiple. All right.
Then, the first time a ship becomes tractored each round, if you go into the round with 1, 2, or 3 tractor tokens on your small, medium, or large ship, when do I get to move you at the start of the planning phase? Or if I tractor you again, do I get to move you, or does nothing happen?
Are we getting into the whole literal interpretation because Become had already come and went when it first happened, and you don't suddenly become again in the next phase or round?
I thought tractored in the actual token itself, they clarified that you don't check for tractored at least on the agility basis until the start of engagement. So I don't know if that status would be that because it was held for a turn, if they would just default to that.
You have the status of tractored continuously.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't get rid of the tokens, you haven't become not tractored and then suddenly become retractored. It's like ions. I mean, you're just ioned until you get rid of it.
So the big thing is if you have a big ship with 3 tractor beam tokens on it already, and Ketsu leaves it on there, you can't then tractor them for tractor number 4 and get the effect.
Correct. Sounds about right.
It's interesting.
Yeah, kind of a minor nerf to Ketsu.
I mean, because Ketsu crew was so popular.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Up.
All right. Any other escalating things?
That was really it. I mean,
that was your one series of continuously escalating things.
I just rolled it all into 1.5 questions.
Oh, okay.
Shortened it.
That works.
I was gonna lead you down the slippery slope of, when do you become tractored? Blah blah blah. Well, what about this explicit thing?
Chris, what is this next very stupid sentence? Why is that even there?
Okay. So the reason that's there, so the thing that they've said is some effects allow you to exchange or equip an upgrade card from one ship to another during or after setup. Particularly Sakatro Vizago. You used to be able to switch out an illicit that a ship normally wouldn't be able to have, which was just asinine. And now they've said if you're going to swap something out, the ship has to be able to
have equipped it in the first place.
Right.
Well, it's not that. It's just the card can't be illegal for you to equip. You don't have to have the slot, but you can't suddenly put what's that?
Oh, you do have to have the slot.
No, you don't have to have the slot.
No, it's not the slot. I think it's just the requirements.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was.
You could.
So you
can put a crew on Z95.
You can move an upgrade to a ship that does not have the matching icon on the upgrade bar, but you cannot move an upgrade to a ship that does not meet the requirements set out in the restrictions box. The restrictions box. That's
a new specific term, but
right.
yeah. So you
can't
side. Take cloaking device, which is for small and medium base, and put it on a large base.
Where's my restrictions box? FFG.
So Coach is sad now, so that he can't Sakatro a cloaking device onto his YV666.
He might be a little sad, but I don't think he was planning on doing it anyway.
It's too big.
But
that big has a cloaking device.
But what if we get something that lets me transfer
force abilities?
Jeez. How do I know?
It's not there yet.
Please no. Well, if you were to happen to transfer force abilities and they had force actions on them, and you failed that force action, you'd still have to spend the force.
Sad.
How do you like that segue?
What a segue.
A little ham-fisted, but we'll take it.
Yeah. So just like red actions, if you try to do them, you have to take the stress. Purple actions, if you try to do them, you're spending the purple.
Correct.
Unless you are named Tiny Anakin.
This also includes fine-tune controls.
Yep.
Even though it's not designated a purple action on your action bar, you're still spending a force to do the action. So if you fail that action, you lose your force too.
No?
What do you mean no?
Yeah, fine-tune controls. You have to spend a force to perform the action, and if you fail the action, too bad, you don't get the force back.
You may spend one thing to perform action. So even though the action failed, but no, that's the same wording as Anakin the other thing.
What do you mean?
Like if I pull up, well, I can't pull up Anakin.
Anakin's
twice.
not an action.
So if I pull up, that's not the part that matters. It's like before you reveal a maneuver, you may spend one force to do a thing. Whereas the other one is after you fully execute a maneuver, you may spend one force to do a thing. It is a cost and an effect. If you can't do the effect, then you don't do the cost, right?
What are you talking about? What if you tried to fine-tune control and spent your force, and then turns out, there's a rock right in front of you and you can't boost onto it?
Then you can't do it.
No, you spent the force to attempt it because you thought
they have a whole paragraph earlier on that if you try to spend a cost to do a thing and you can't do the thing, then you can't spend the cost.
It's no different in concept than just if you attempt the action and fail the action.
N1, they specifically
you don't get to do
Anakin
another action.
N1, you can't.
But Anakin N1 isn't a barrel roll action. They're trying to clarify that failed purple actions.
That's not a purple action.
I thought they put
to do a normal action, and they specifically say things listed as normal or just action are considered white.
I thought they clarified in here that fine-tune controls was part of this.
Well, I'm looking. You're all pretty ladies.
Where is it?
I'm gonna kill my cat. She's being so. Every time you hear that, what?
She's not gonna, it's a Steve Martin character.
Okay, so canon. No, that's ionizing. So here's what it says. If a ship attempts a purple action, such as a barrel roll or boost action, and fails the action, must it still spend the force? Yes, a purple action's force cost is a cost to attempt to perform that purple action. See actions and is still paid even if the action fails.
Right, which is what I said. So what's the problem?
It says purple action, purple action, purple action.
Yeah.
Listed in fine-tune controls, that is not a purple action.
Yeah, I had scanned through that earlier and thought that would have been applied to the fine-tune controls.
So if we go on to the next one of Anakin's thing, if Anakin Skywalker, the Naboo Royal N1, uses its pilot ability to barrel roll, note that this is not a barrel roll action, and fails, must he still spend the force? It says, no, a barrel roll can fail in the same manner that a barrel roll action, but because Anakin's ability is not an action, the force cost is a cost to resolve the effect, which Anakin cannot do in this case of a failure, rather than a cost to attempt the action.
So what's an example of a failed Jedi? Let's say you have a
paragraph is saying that it is a cost to perform an action. That's such utter bullshit. Why don't they just say fine-tune controls? After you fully execute a maneuver, you can perform a purple booster barrel roll. Man, wouldn't that have fucking solved it?
Yes.
So what's an example where you would have lost the force then?
If
it's not fine-tune controls, is there any?
No, like based on that paragraph I just read, it makes it sound like fine-tune controls is.
Basically, there's nothing right now that does that. Now, maybe in the future, say Jedi Interceptor, it might have linked actions to purple booster barrel rolls. Maybe.
No, but what it just said right there, like I'm changing my position. If you didn't hear me.
Oh,
Like,
you are.
fine-tune controls that makes it sound like you spend the force now. Because it's saying, but because Anakin's ability is not an action, the forced cost is a cost to resolve the effect, which Anakin cannot do in the case of a failure, rather than the cost to attempt the action. So they're like that's almost saying like fine-tune controls is spending a force to attempt the action. So it's essentially saying that full sentence is defining that to be a purple action instead of just saying it's a purple action.
Okay, so fine-tune controls, you would say would even if failed
Based on
would have
that
to spend it.
paragraph,
Hold on.
because it's saying, but because Anakin's ability is not an action, they're coming out and saying if it did say action, like fine-tune controls does, he would have had to spend the force.
Yep.
That's so dumb.
I mean, it should
Like,
just be.
I mean, it's fine. I'm completely okay with that working that way, but the wording and the way they put it into the rules is
ham-fisted.
obnoxious bullshit.
Yeah, it would. You're right. It would have been simpler if originally when they made the card, they would have just said, after you fully execute a maneuver, you may perform a purple booster barrel.
I mean,
action.
or if they said on here, like, if the ship attempts a purple action or an effect where it's like an effect action where its cost was a force, or I don't know, some bullshit that people smarter than me could write, but something other than having to read it in an offhand section of the next paragraph.
Hey, Chris.
What?
Don't sell yourself short. You can accomplish a lot.
Thanks.
So
Great
if you needed to get a ruling on this, can you only do this if you find yourself at a major event where there's FFG staff and you can just say, hey, this is an issue. What's your decision on this? Like you're at Gen Con or Worlds or something, you've got to set one of them aside and say, all right, give me a ruling since this is vague.
Seems like it. But I mean, like that paragraph seems much more clear cut than I was initially anticipating with just the previous Q&A. So it seems like the force is spent and Anakin is just fucking special.
See, Chico,
that's a cool trick. The other things are actions, not cool tricks.
You could go to FFG, run events, and just say, you may use my tournament software if you answer my questions.
Oh, blackmail.
Oh,
that's always a good approach. That's the answer.
You
to
may
most
use this for free if you answer questions 3.
Did you hear that Gen Con used Cryodex?
Oh, yeah.
I had heard that, yeah.
And then
I'm pretty sure
Euros used it, and I'm pretty sure Australians used it. And then Keyforge was supposed to be run by their new fancy Keyforge software over in Italy, a massive like multi-hundred person tournament, and their Keyforge software just fucking crashed. And guess who saved the day?
Now, did they ask you?
No, they never asked me.
Wait. Who made Cryodex? I never heard of this before.
I don't know. Some guy with a bad knee.
You could get an attorney and deal with this, but you don't want to dick over Wade like that.
Right. Yeah. I have thought about in the past writing something in there that you you couldn't add more than like 50 players unless you had like a specific code or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, no.
Do not hang Wade out to dry, Chico.
Do it or no balls.
No, you leave that man alone and let him use your software.
The password should just be Wade Pichet.
There you go.
Nice. Although there are some people who like me.
Whoa! Coded
they
to
used
where
it at
says
Nova,
give Wade a
and
raid.
Paul Heaver sent me money. He said a
Code,
donation.
code it to where it says give way to raise constantly. Therefore, they have to see it every time they use it.
Well,
Especially
that's
the
what I
higher
did with Crate Cup. Every time he pressed a button in that, it popped up a thing telling him to make me an admin of the crate page.
Have it say apologize to Wade about outer rim dice.
There you go.
Also, I'm pretty sure I don't think Nami's still listening, but if any crate's listening at this point of the cast, it should be a crate bet whether or not Cryodex is used at Worlds.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's right.
I bet it
Future
will.
listener.
100%. They'll use it for the side events, and they'll be cool about it.
I'm on board for that one. I might drive up just for that. Okay, where were we? Okay, Anakin, purple actions, fucking dumb shit.
Hey,
No,
ready for more purple force token things?
Yeah, more force stuff. Sense. Evidently, whatever. Just measure anything you want, whenever you want, and then decide.
Yeah, it's on easy mode now.
It didn't matter. Just measure during the previous engagement step like a man.
Just measure and spend it. Who cares if you need it?
But things could have possibly moved between that engagement step and other things.
Sure.
Like obstacles?
All those people playing Phantom still.
Right. So yeah,
Hey,
sense.
Echo may still be viable. It won Nova. Come on now.
I mean, I get the feeling Duncan would have done better if he ran Kylo than Blackout. But that, yeah.
So yeah, since you can measure all the things, and evidently them putting 0 to 3 was just a terrible joke. Whatever.
Yeah, it should have just read spend a force charge. Oh, I make sure if this isn't literally the text on the card, but spend a force. Yeah, spend a force charge to look an opponent's dial within 0 to 3. If they were within 0 to 1, regain the force charge or don't spend it. Easy.
Yeah, whatever. FFG, do your thing, I guess.
Yep.
So next one, Covanel, the one that confused the living hell out of a lot of people. They super simplified it, but in simplifying it, made it not really make sense. But whatever, it's simple. I can deal with it. So Covanel, the ability says something about if you
Reveal
have
a red
maneuver on your dial, you can do things. So now it's just what's on the display of your dial, just what is physically there on the cardboard of your dial, instead of all of these ridiculous abilities that possibly could have changed it. You just look at the dial, easy peasy. Even though 100 abilities effectively changed what your dial says, whatever.
This is not what's important. What's important is who got the ruling right and who got it wrong. What events got it wrong?
Oh, don't worry. Every person who claims that they were the first one to make that declaration has sent me a message claiming that they were right. Something, hashtag unknowable. Like,
majority of the community mostly agree that R4 was a persistent effect anyway, and that those people who are like, I was right all along. FFG just decided you never were part of this.
Right.
Unless you were like some weird playtester, then you're just a liar.
Also correct.
Though I kind of felt like this was coming because this is what Euros did, right?
Oh, really?
They said that it was just cardboard.
Nope. Bye, Zach. Kitty disconnected him.
Probably.
Ask him if it was the cat. Was that the cat?
Was it the cat?
Mason decided we're done.
Yes, the cat.
Nice.
Pay attention to me.
Who's a good kitty?
Nice. So yeah, Kova, just look at the dial.
Oh, baby.
Right. All right. So our last boring one, Padme can only somebody being affected by Padme can only change one focus, no matter what or how, Palpatine on other ship or not. One focus out of your dice can be changed.
Oh,
that's
hold on. We skipped the stuff that this stupid ruling breaks now.
Yeah, Kova.
Yeah. No,
Huh?
Kova,
I mean,
Kova
also-
breaks shit.
Also, like
Oh, you
Kova-
were offline for a second. I skipped past it.
Kova's
Okay, go back, Kova.
Kova's cheaper version now is R4 with pattern analyzer. There you go, people.
Yeah, but so now if you want to run Hera in the VCX, and because of this wording, because of all this stupid shit, now if you have Nia Num and you reveal the dial of the VCX, it has blue maneuvers of the 2 straight, the 1 straight, and the 2 banks.
Mm-hmm.
Nia Num makes all your banks 1 difficulty lower. So, because of this Kova ruling, you can reveal a 3 bank or a 1 bank and change those to the blue maneuvers that exist on the dial, but you cannot go the other way.
Yep.
English, please.
So normally, 9nub basically gave all of Hera's straights up to 3 and banks all blue. Or sorry, the straight is white.
Oh, I was
One
thinking
and
it's
two.
literally as the pilot. You're talking the crew.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
The 9nub crew does that. Hera pilot has the ability of when you reveal a red or blue maneuver, you may set your dial to another maneuver of the same difficulty. Well,
Right.
now the revealed maneuver is what's on the cardboard of the dial, which 9nub will not affect.
Mhm.
So, like Zach said, you can go from a white that you revealed to wait. Does that actually work that way, Zach? Though.
So it says you can change. Hold on, let me.
Here, read Tommy's comment there.
So the way Hera is read, after you reveal a red or blue maneuver, you may set your dial to another maneuver of the same difficulty. So if you go by this Kova R4 ruling, you could change. Let's say you dialed in a 3 bank, which Nia Num makes blue. You could change that to a 1 straight, a 2 straight, or a 1 bank, because those are the blue maneuvers on your dial, physically represented on your dial, but you could not change it to a 2 bank or the other 3 bank.
So you go with what's printed on the dial, and you break Nia Num's ability.
Yeah,
for some of the moves.
Well,
nerfs
wait,
his
would
ability
it
a
be
little
would
bit.
it be the other way around? Because you need to reveal a blue for her ability to take into effect. So you have to start with the 1 or 2 straight or 2 bank, and the difficulty's been decreased by 9nub, and you set your dial to another maneuver of the same difficulty, and then it would.
I see that argument too. I honestly don't know which way it falls.
Because 9nub's affected the difficulty, which has been fulfilled, not a revealed. Yeah, because it's not a revealed dial anymore.
All right, so Chico, here I am this weekend. I'm playing a tournament in Muncie, and there you are as the judge, and I've got Hera and 9num. What is your ruling?
I don't know. I haven't thought about it enough.
Come on, Illuminati, step up.
I wasn't listening to half that conversation.
Don't make me go to D and Chris Allen. Come on,
Get on my level.
Make a decision.
So, Gordon, let's break it down, right? After you reveal a red or blue maneuver, right? Comma. So right there. So you have to reveal one of those 2 colors. And on your dial, those blues are only 1 straight, 2 straight, and 2 banks.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
So you can't, and on your dial, your 3 banks and 1 banks are white. It cannot be those. You may set your dial to another maneuver of the same difficulty. So 9nub's affected the difficulty, and it doesn't say it would have to be like literally the revealed dial color at that point, from what it seems at least.
But now, so
you could never start with the blues you gained from 9nub. You'd have to start with the blues you had on the dial.
So bring a Sharpie.
Doesn't 9nub still apply to the revealed maneuver?
No, because your revealed maneuver at that point is white if you start with a 3 bank or one bank.
But then we're getting into some really nasty bullshit with the idea of revealing red maneuvers when you're stressed, even though you have other abilities that change their color.
Oh yeah, that's another thing, right? Someone asked the question: if Kova was stressed and reveals a 1 turn with R4, you've revealed a red while stressed. Do you do the 1 turn or do you do the 2 straight white for revealing a red? I asked this to Chris Allen, and he mentioned you can reveal a red, but you can't execute a red when
Wait,
you're
what?
stressed.
Now, then the follow-up question is...
Wait, hang on. So you can reveal a red. If you can't execute a red, then what? You execute a 2 straight? What
You
am I
do the
missing?
white 2 straight, yeah. Just like so, we're all used to and ingrained in our heads that when you reveal a red while you're stressed, you do a 2 straight. It's not because you revealed a red; it's because you revealed a red and immediately after that would require you to perform the red, which you can't while you're stressed, which would require you to do the 2 straight white. In this case, Kova revealed a red while stressed, but the R4 drops it to a white, meaning you could still do it.
Still do it and get an action, or
Oh no, you're still stressed from the prior turn.
I'm not getting. Honestly, I didn't understand the difference between the two. Then, in both those examples, I'm going 2 straight. What am I missing?
No,
you might not. In one version of it, you do the hard one, treating it as white. The other one, you can't do the hard one.
So the difference is one has R4 Astromech active and one doesn't.
Right, but aren't we all assuming that based on the interpretation of this FAQ, it's based on what's on the dial, and therefore R4 doesn't save us?
No. So I'm getting what he's saying is like you can't execute the red. You can reveal a red. You just can't execute it.
So but that's always going to be the case, and therefore it's always. I'm not getting the either or here or the different examples.
So you got to separate. Yes, you are allowed in this game to reveal a red maneuver on your dial. Like if you weren't allowed, you'd have to go back and change it. Like in first edition, like when people got to pick other people's dials and that stuff before the white 2 straight came into effect. Then they revised it to say when you reveal a red on your dial and you're stressed, you're not allowed to execute that anymore because you're stressed, therefore you can't do a red maneuver.
But you can do all sorts of abilities to change its color prior to executing, like
Yes.
R4.
So if you have R4, something that would decrease its difficulty, you can reveal a red while stressed. Then before attempting to execute the maneuver that would check to see if your stress was there to whether or not you could do the red, something drops its difficulty, allowing you to complete the maneuver because of its easier difficulty.
Okay, I guess.
I can make it even more stupidly complicated too, if you'd like.
Sure.
Let's have fun.
Okay, let's say instead of doing the hard turn 1, you dialed in a red hard turn 3, which you can't do. Okay, so it does not say to change your dial. Okay, what it says is you perform a 2 straight. Now let's say Rick is coming at you with a 3-speed maneuver. How many attack dice does he roll?
Oh, he rolls 2. It's the same thing as when it's the reveal dial, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing as if I have a Vulture Droid with grappling struts and I throw down a 5 straight.
Mm-hmm.
It's the reveal dial. I'm faster than Rick, but I'm just sitting on a rock.
Yep.
But that feels so dumb, doesn't it?
It does, but I'll do it all the time.
Yeah. Oh.
All right. Enough rules. I don't play X-Wing to know rules. I play X-Wing to whine about
how do these rules make you feel.
I play X-Wing to whine about broken meta stuff. So there's your ham-fisted segue into the Sumpocalypse. You want to take a break, or do you want to dive into this now?
I think it's a solid commercial spot.
There you go.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Sunpocalypse.
We're gonna have
Is
to
that I feel like that's almost the same amount of syllables as I'm loving it.
It is.
Oh,
We did it, boys.
We'll be getting a cease and desist from McDonald's corporate.
No, you can't say the name. Now they know.
Well, I had to make certain we got one, didn't we?
No.
And by we, I mean Ryan.
Get him. Send the clown after him.
what I do?
You're getting sued.
No,
Yep. By McDonald's. They have money.
and I
Hi, Chris
don't.
Brown.
They have more than Patreon.
I have just enough to, have a house and other things that are necessary in life. Can't get anything more from me.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
You would be surprised.
Especially
Nothing they would care about.
Especially if the McRib is around, they can do anything.
I won't ever have fast food ribs.
I don't think I've ever had a McRib.
I did as like a child, probably, but not as like a grown man who makes his own decisions.
Mm. So we're in commercial break now?
Yes.
All right. So I'm gonna have to go to bed
Okay.
because it's like damn near midnight. I'm not gonna make it much longer. So
Yeah, I don't know if we're not going to make the second. This is less of a first half, second half, and more of like a first 2/3 or 3/4, to be honest.
yeah, I gotta get to bed. I got all day training tomorrow.
I have nothing going on at work tomorrow.
Lucky you.
It's not the most fun, believe it or not. I wrapped up something.
What do you do now? You're not teaching, right?
I'm no longer teaching. My job title has changed to a clinical science analyst. I am working on like clinical trial studies and looking at a lot of data and trying to make presentations make sense for like FDA presentations and stuff. But I'm still very early in it, so I barely know what I'm doing.
FTA?
FDA.
Oh, okay. All right.
And food and drug boys.
Yeah.
And apparently I think it's the OUS is one I have to deal with a lot. I haven't dealt with yet. It is the French equivalent of the FDA. And some Japanese group that I don't remember the acronym for. And the CFDA, which is China.
Well, it's good to hear that they have something.
Yeah.
Works.
Yeah, but I like the people I work with so far, so that's good. None of them are my students, so I have nothing bad to say about them.
I'm looking at the Gold Squadron stream, and Dion's playing a CIS Swarm.
Sure.
They need to make X-Wing games 10 minutes longer. I know I'm going to regret saying that.
Yeah, are you insane?
No, every game goes to time.
Yeah, they need to make things destroy. So I'll leave you with my final idea that I think I mentioned to you, Zach. I think they need to at least run one event, and I think this would be great. One event where first, all of your bid points are destroyed immediately.
Yes.
And I think that should happen anyways. And two, only your points destroyed matter.
It'd be interesting. Like no tournament points whatsoever.
Like, yeah, only the points you destroyed go towards your score. No margin of victory. It's just how many points you destroyed. Now, it would create a whole bunch of jousting lists, and triple ace play would probably be gone. Sorry. But
or hyper defensive stuff if possible, where you never got any damage on me.
Granted, like a win's a win, and that'll still trump MOV and or amount of points destroyed. But like if you're on the bubble, it is not
what Chico's suggesting is wins don't matter.
Yeah, there's no such thing as wins. You just have your points.
Oh, so like Armada.
What if I just final salvo every one of my opponents at the start of the game and get 200 points every game?
Right. The problem with Armada is people will go like 5-0 and like got their ass kicked because they just didn't do damage.
It does feel really.
Sorry about your luck.
Well, it does feel really bad that like in some cases you won games and just didn't like amount of won by is the bigger deal.
Mm-hmm.
I know some Armada players don't like that format at all because it feels like their wins mean nothing.
Mm-hmm. Armada's a weird game. It's a cool game. How do you guys feel about that the Marvel thing coming? I didn't get a chance to play it.
I've not looked at it at all.
I'm sure Luke's gonna drag us into playing it some at least.
I want to try it.
You mean that game that hijacked the in-flight report at Gen Con?
Right.
Yes.
I have an irrational hatred of it because they hijacked the FFG in-flight report.
Yeah, like it's not a Fantasy Flight game.
Like, remember how we were standing there in line? You're like, here, cut in with us and come into the in-flight report. And I went, I'm not going to. I'm going to skip it. If I had gone in with you guys and had been held hostage by that stupid thing, because that Marvel game went longer than any of the FFG presentation at all, I would have been so pissed. And then the second the in-flight report is done, what do? They released a shit ton of FFG articles about X-Wing that they could have, I don't know, shown us during the in-flight report. I hate that Marvel game.
Are you talking the minis game or the card game?
The minis game, that's not even FFG. I don't want to play a card game that's co-op. Who cares? An LCG co-op?
That's what Arkham is.
It was actually pretty fun.
Ugh.
I liked the Arkham Final Hour is fun. I like that game. We still haven't beaten it.
Arkham Final Hour? Is that what they called it?
Yeah, it's the shorter Arkham game. They had the pre-release at Gen Con.
Oh, that you're not talking about their LCG.
No, not the
Arkham
LCG.
Horror, the card game.
No. But yeah, no, the Arkham Horror games, I think they put in a lot of work. I think they're neater than people give them credit for. It's just like the original Arkham Horror is way too fucking long.
I'm just tired of Cthulhu for a while.
You calling too much?
All right.
Better than that.
Well, I'm out. You guys have a good night.
How'd you
Hey.
go?
I guess we're
How'd
back
you
from
go?
commercial break then, huh?
I mean, not yet.
I mean, I'm just going to disappear during the commercial.
Mm.
Deal with it.
Well, we can't start doing the show until you go away, Chris.
So now I'm holding it hostage. Let me
Yes.
talk about this Marvel game.
Oh.
See what I can find. All right. Good night, guys. Good talking to you.
See
There
ya.
you
Chris.
go. See you soon.
Scoot that
my
over.
gosh, Georgia, what do you want? You need me to clean your poop
Here.
box?
Then Gordon's picture thing there, and that there, and send over.
Is that me as a unknown comic sad stealer? That's funny. Look at that. It's good.
All right. And let me give about 30 more seconds and we'll come out of commercial. Since we got that fancy timer up top to tell us.
We seriously have to run this in real time as to how long the commercial's going? You can't
know.
just splice it in? What are you doing? What am I missing?
No, it's easier for me to track the time.
Yeah.
Oh, so you can tell them when. Oh, right.
Yes.
Right. Got it.
Let's make it a really long commercial.
God. Can you imagine if commercials had to fill the amount of time that we spent in between?
And that's why we're back from commercial, so it didn't take that long.
Are we back?
Like it was no
Yes, we're
time
back.
at all.
Oh, okay.
It was like nothing really happened except we
We got rid of Chris.
We did.
Chris decided that he needed to finish his training, keeping up that crate lifestyle.
Sad.
Mm.
I got to do more training tomorrow. It never stops.
What kind of training?
The running kind.
Just always running.
Yep. I got to
He's
do 25 minutes tomorrow.
He's a running fool.
I was up to like 2 hours last year. And then I got fat and lazy. I actually didn't break my foot last year. It was Gen Con. I wanted to look good for everybody last year. And then after I looked good for everybody, I was like, well, I don't need to look good for my girlfriend. So
Oh, God. The wrong attitude. All right.
what? I needed Duncan to notice me.
Oh, my God. All right.
All right, so Gordon, you have concerns about a thing.
Well, I don't have concerns about a thing because we've already established I don't know anything, right? I mean, typical me. But it's what I keep hearing about. It's the Sunfocalypse. All right. So we are, I don't know how much we want to get into this, but we are heading into Worlds, right? It's what's on everyone's mind, right? You know, we don't really quite have a new meta necessarily because we've just had the new wave. We've just had some points changes. We don't have anything that just happened that was super big to give us a heads up. We've got a handful of hyperspace trials that just happened to give us even a pseudo indicator, and that's only on the hyperspace side of things. That's not in the full-blown extended meta. But it's what we're all thinking. What's gonna what to bring to Worlds? What's gonna do well at Worlds? What do we think is gonna show up? And then is the Nantex and Sunfuck and all this tractoring and NPE and is the sky falling? Blah 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 blah.
Go.
I think we're at a point that you can glean a lot of information from the hyperspace trials because hyperspace is getting pretty close to extended now.
Yeah, they're not as far off as you'd think. Now the success rate, and because it's a crunched amount of people and not as large of going through all 6 rounds through a big day of Swiss and all that. Yeah, that is a little off, but hyperspace isn't as far off from the extended in most cases. But so the issue that most people are overall that are having with Sunfuck is he is to get his triggers off. They're unblockable. They're at the highest initiative, and it applies one of the most detrimental effects to your opponent's ships in the game, where about, I'd say 80% or more of the actual ship sizes are small that are being fielded in a competitive format. That affected immediately.
All right, so there's bullet point 1, because my initial reaction was then just bring medium and large base ships. And is that a correct response? Or because I believe I saw in some commentary somewhere, it's like, oh, great, tech against, who said that? Was it you, Zach?
It was me.
You, right.
Yeah.
Explain this, Zach. Go ahead. Chime in.
So in my opinion, X-Wing First Edition was ruined in Wave 4. Because if you look at what happened, when X-Wing Wave 4 came out, that was when Whisper happened. Pre-nerf Whisper. And I'm guessing anyone that remembers Wave 4 and played Wave 4 remembers what happened. We went from if you're either bringing Whisper or you're bringing a super high initiative Han that gets to shoot before Whisper. Then after that, in order to combat that, we had Soontir Fel because he got auto thrusters that came out because the amount of time between things changing from one wave to the next was so long that card releases were always a wave or two behind. Like the thing to counter the fat turrets was auto thrusters and Palpatine. And at the same time, like a little bit after that, what did we get? We got TLT.
Well, you're compressing a couple years in there, but yes, the timeline is correct in terms of what each new NPE emerged in the game. Correct.
And the thing was like what happened in the game was it wasn't like a gradual change. It was violent swings of we have to make something that counters this. Do it now, do it now, do it now. And that ended up with these big shifts in the meta. So I feel like this big Sun fact thing of, oh my gosh, everybody needs to bring medium or big ships to counter Sun fact because he can't barrel roll you and you can just do more damage than him is the second coming of pre-nerf Whisper.
So the one other part to that is a lot of people are looking correct the medium and large base ships. Like, I won't have to deal with Sunfuck. It won't do nearly as much damage. And with the recent FAQ, whatever he brings along with him won't be able to take full advantage of the agility negative because it's not going to be applied to me unless all of the tokens are there, right? Yep. The other caveat to that is we get into a little bit of rock, paper, scissors because the Jedi that theoretically would be getting majorly hurt by having to deal with Sunfok can easily move around those medium to large base ships unless you're running Luke Gunner, which is another aspect of, like, we were close to, like, I'm pretty sure before Sunfok's points and everything got released, we were on the verge and pretty close to getting to, I'm going to take less aces and one of them's going to get supernatural and I'm going to have a big ass bid and you're never going to hit me. And then some of the reaction might have been like, all right, I'm just going to take a turret that's always 360 in Luke Gunner. So like it is trending into overmorphing the meta because of these effects on the game that are being caused by things like Sunfok or precognitive reflexes. Is, you know, supernatural reflexes, but a lot cheaper with some restrictions.
It's what supernatural should have been.
Precog is supernatural. It's the same card. The only people, you're not going to put it on a Y-wing. No. Nobody's going to do that. And if they are going to do it, they're taking the boost because they're not getting shot.
Yeah. So it's, you know, there's, because of the recent FAQ, there's a little more you can do against Sunfok. It's not immediate put ship down on board for any person and going to wreck other person. They do have to understand how he moves, how the arcs need to be shifted around from turn to turn and still be threatening, since you have to rotate your arc.
It is, Mikhail, my co-host, has been playing it a little bit, and he believes it's a pretty high skill floor. So he thinks that will lower its presence a little bit. But he does find it to be oppressive.
Yeah, it's going to be oppressive to certain aspects of the game. It's just a matter of how much of that aspect of the game is something that, like, is it so detrimental that it just doesn't show up? Or is it like it still exists and just Sunfok is one of the things that deals with X thing? Like, the other part is it could put us into another bidding war, right? Sunfok would like to know all the information and not have to deal with an I6 that moves after him that won't be ensnared because it arc dodged the ensnare.
Yep.
So maybe all of his vultures or whatever mini swarm is with him can compensate for that and say, if this ace is going to be here outside of my arc, then it's going to deal with all these ships and shots. That's all your positioning and your skill to set that up. But there could be some serious bidding happening between all small base ship aces.
If you're not getting into another bidding war among the ace lists, then, and even then, it's kind of hard to escape. I mean, when you do the bloom map, right? It's like, it's gross, right? It's everywhere. If you do it right, it's inescapable. Basically, he's gonna get you if he wants to get you. So, other than, even then, it may not matter. So, can you think of any other kind of archetypes lists that may be a good counter against that, apart from medium and large based? Like, does a swarm help?
Yes.
Somewhat.
Sunfok does not have passive mods defensively.
He's 4 hull, right?
Yeah.
He's 4 hull, 3 agility, as long as he passes off distraction token, which he probably will. So
if you block him, he is. That's the thing.
Yeah. And like Sunfok has to decide, you know, depending on where he is, if he's going to use his focus on offense or defense. It's not like a Jedi where he can do whatever he wants. Like, as much as Sunfok still is really threatening and detrimental to the game as it is, it still doesn't cover the fact that there were other things that were already in the game that were still oppressive. Jedi's ability to regen, like, Jedi have a lot of pillars of 1.0-ness to them. Consistent passive mods, regen, double reposition without stress. Like, there's a lot of things in there to unpack that, you know, tractors feel really bad when they happen to you. immediately. Jedi feel bad by the end of the game because you've realized how long they've stalled for time or just gotten the game state they wanted and dragged it out.
Yeah, the very existence of a Jedi makes the game go to time. It is more in the hands of a good pilot. It is more likely the result is, did you win the damage race or lose it? Not did you win the game or lose it because you killed all of the enemy ships that had a Jedi on it.
I was talking about that the other day. The game's become less about win and more about don't lose.
Yeah.
Which was the problem that ultimately killed off the first edition.
Yep.
It ultimately culminated in a ship like Miranda that just simply wouldn't die.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What? The Adepticon final, right? Where they'd rather resolve it via Luke and Chewie because the game can't be resolved.
Yep. I remember.
So Jedi is one step closer to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, I'm not like there are many parts to why Jedi are oppressive. But I think just they need to, like, Obi-Wan got too cheap. Plo Koon to some degree got too cheap, but overall Jedi as a chassis just need to go back up. It's not just the R2 astromech. It's not just 7B. I mean, 7B title you could increase, but I think it's a combination still. I'm a huge proponent, and you know what? This recent FAQ or update to the rules reference gives me real hope that maybe one day they'll re-clarify fully execute as not counting when you go over obstacles.
That would solve a lot, to be honest.
Right.
I think, yeah, it would. Full throttle, you wouldn't be able to trigger that going through any obstacle. Your fine-tuned controls is just ridiculously efficient getting those ships out of danger and into regenning. As much as like Rick is good, I don't think he's auto include in Republic list, but
there's a trick with Rick, and that's just he's a distraction.
Yeah, he's a distraction because if you don't kill him, he will be able to get back up above half points. Just how his stat line works with 3 hull, 2 agility in any of the Naboo's, they can just start running and regen the 2, and now they're at 1. Like, if they leave their first engagement with 1 hull, and if they chase, then they're probably going to get outpositioned, and the 2 other Jedi in the list are just going to wreck them.
Mm-hmm.
But also, if you don't chase Rick, you're never going to see those points again.
Yep.
Because he's just going to stay at 1 hull, regen the 2, and just run the rest of the game.
Yep.
And point lock you. And that's what the Jedi do. They, like, Republic in its best form right now, point locks opponents.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've been on my last episode, I posited the fact that I think we had already seen the pinnacle, and I think we're on the downslope.
So the game?
Yeah. I think it's still great. It's better than it's ever been, but I think we're now starting to see a decline. I think numbers will bear that out, and I think stuff like this is only going to make it worse.
Well, the only hope is that the next points update can help address the issues that we've mentioned, that they're willing to take steps to resolve this and steer it back towards their mentality of second edition and away from, like, it's not like passive mods can't ever exist. It's not like double reposition can't ever exist. There's just, it's not like regen can't ever exist. There's just got to be real consequences, and you, like, putting all that together in a certain package. Like, for as many people who think Sunfok is expensive or overcosted, they just don't know how to likely play that ship at all. Its effect on the game is staggering. Snapshot, something we haven't even gone over yet. Like, that range 2 band is huge.
Yes, it's 3 times bigger now.
Which do you think are the best snapshot carriers?
As many as you can take. Like, I mean, I threw this list together early, but you can fit 5 Z95 Talas and AP5 with Leia crew
I don't know if that's that great.
I don't know, but it's 5 snapshots.
Yeah, I've wanted to like it on Star Vipers, but it's really good on Star Vipers as long as you're not playing Sunfac or them, because oh boy, does that make them real sad. Because they get the curvy barrel roll on Tractor Beam.
You can take 5 TIE aggressors with snapshot and dorsal turret, no escape.
Yeah, but that's TIE aggressors. I think the V1s are pretty good. I also think if you want to go cheap and you want to play Republic, the whatchamaflops are pretty good too.
The Torrents?
Torrents are pretty good. I think the Torrents are just pretty decent as a whole, to be honest. Like, they're cheap. They have 5 health.
I mean, realistically, I think the only ship that you can generate 6 of for snapshot spam is TIE fighters, whether it's the Scum Mining Guild TIE or the Black Squadron from the Empire.
I'd rather run Black Squadrons of those. I just don't want that. But I don't think that's worth it, because, like, what do you do after that, you know?
I don't know. There's also single snapshot users that are scary just on their ability. A Shadowcaster title with snapshot adds a whole nother layer of scary tractors.
Yeah, it does.
Like, what if Ketsu just had veteran turret gunner and also applied tractor in the activation phase,
right?
And the start of engagement at range 1?
Her tractoring doesn't. If you had additional snapshots, though, it won't kick in.
What's the cost of snapshot on Ketsu, though? Won't that be nuts?
9.
The tractor beams won't do anything on other snapshots, though.
I'm not saying multiplicative on the snapshot. Yeah. Just like alone, if you land in Ketsu's range 2, if she has snapshot, if she hits you, she can tractor you.
Mm-hmm. They might have changed that with the way they changed the definition of what tractored means. I'm too lazy to check right now.
So, as everyone's sentiment has been so far, Wave 5 just have things in it that just brings the game down overall.
Not the Y-Wing, though. Y-Wing didn't really do anything bad.
Well, the Y-Wing itself.
Yeah.
But the Y-Wing pack still came with precognitive reflexes and snapshot.
Yeah.
So, even like Chopper's
cute, but
yeah,
not healthy.
Yeah, that's a real issue, Chopper, because that could be like it could either be the most annoying thing you're up against, or it'll be what hasten your demise real quick. And I don't know how that's going to play out.
I like what they intended with it. They intended you to like put it on matchstick, which
sure,
that's cool. Like, yeah, it doesn't matter. I've still got rerolls, but that's not what people are going to do with it.
No, people are going to throw it on Anakin and say, hey, like, barring, like, this is another card that for some reason doesn't have the fully execute clause. It's just execute. So all of the pinpoint tractor arrays and this Chopper here have just, for some reason, they decided to ignore the whole fully execute as a thing.
Don't believe in adjectives?
But you can spend a charge to perform a red evade. And hey, if Anakin doesn't want that stress...
Guess I don't take it.
Well, let's see. With the new ability queue, would that work?
Yes.
As long
as you didn't do a red maneuver to do it. Like, if Anakin's ability is active, you can choose the order of operation. So you Chopper first, then you remove it with Anakin's ability. Then you do your normal action.
Yeah, but you couldn't add that with fine tune because of how they laid it out before.
Well, I mean, you could, as long as it's, you meet the requirement. Well, I guess, no, if you K-turn, then yeah, fine tune doesn't trigger anymore.
Not even K-turn, like 3 bank, and like from there you want to queue up Chopper, fine tune, and Anakin's ability.
That works, yeah. Because they're all fair game. at that point in time. And because of that, you can put them all in the queue, and you can put them in any order.
But
So
you
that works
couldn't
that way.
trigger Anakin's ability if you weren't already in his arc to get rid of the stress.
Correct. Like, there wouldn't be much of a reason to trigger to be like, oh, hey, I'm triggering Anakin's ability even though I don't have stress. I'm not sure. Like, can you trigger Anakin's ability while you don't have stress? I think that's a question.
It's a good one. But either way,
I want to say no.
people are even looking at the erratic side is not a negative. Like on these Jedi, wouldn't it really suck if you set up an actual shot against one of them and they just said, well, I'm in range 0 to 1 of you after I execute a maneuver, so you get the jam token. That seems pretty bad to deal with Jedi. So, I mean, Chopper might even be undercosted at 7.
Is he 7 or 6?
7.
Okay.
He's one more point than Regen. So realistically, like, an evade is the same, quote unquote, as a regen because it's still 2 health overall. Might be small mathematical game states where the regen might be better because that actually gets you above.
I was about to say, doesn't it feel bad not to bring an Anakin without a regen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So therefore, don't you think Chopper will be on something that you don't care?
Chopper, just the Anakin's ability is the one main reason why Chopper may find a home on him more than others.
I get it, but not at the expense of like R2.
Yeah, and I guess basically Chopper on Anakin is a free purple evade action, like outside of your perform action step.
Yeah.
Because you're dumping the stress anyway. You're going to spend a force.
If you got the bump.
Yep.
It's a purple evade at that point, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's another way to look at it. Besides the potential doom and gloom, I think with the ion cannon update, like we talked about earlier, like broadside and matchstick seem pretty sweet.
Yep, I really like matchstick. I really like Goji, but now after having seen how cheap matched broadside is in comparison, it seems kind of dumb and unfair. But
I think broadside's the ship.
Yep. I was moderately surprised how cheap broadside was. I was hoping matchstick would be a little cheaper, but I guess it makes sense for what it is.
Don't you think it's going to be 2 Jedi and broadside? I mean, isn't that going to be the archetype going forward?
Maybe.
I don't know. Rick is so good at holding points. Like broadside could just die.
Today I tried out Goji, matchstick, Rick, and 2 torrents, and that fits pretty well, and it would fit even better with broadside because I had matchstick. I mean, I had Goji loaded down, so you probably get some stuff on Rick at that point.
Before even the points or the FAQ, I was messing around with, because originally when I was looking at squads with these Y-Wings, I was looking at a Sinker Swarm, and instead of Rick or the second arc, I was going to put in broadside or matchstick. Because then if it was matchstick, all the turrets could lock matchstick, and he can get all the rerolls he wants. You'd have to kill a bunch of turrets before it goes away. But then matchstick is at 46 points equal with just dorsal. And I kind of wanted it for the ion control. I'm like,
I like him with the gunner too, turret gunner.
Yeah. I was like, well, if these guys come in pairs, that's actually a solid potential ability of ion control. They have I think outside of Cavill, they have the best chance to get ions on ships because of their abilities. With rerolls and broadsides blank to focus. So I tried to build with both of them in mind. And you could do something like matchstick and broadside with both ion cannon turret to help keep them alive. You can try and implement the duo of Padme and Luminara. So Padme with regen, Luminara with CLT. You have 16 points to play with if you just keep the ion cannons only on Matchstick and Broadside. You can put Luminar up to Delta B, and then that's it.
It's actually pretty good.
Or you can do CLT and start putting some points together because you have 16. You could put 7th Fleet on one of them, like you said. You could just to mess around, just because I think Snapshot's just a better veteran turret gunner. You can do Snapshot on each of them, and with Padme against other Force users. I mean, they're only spending 1, but it's not a lot on the defense needed for Snapshot, most likely. So you have room to play with. But the other part is, for as much as we are hoping or hope that when we take these ion weapons that they'll actually be useful against the aces that we want to lock down, those aces still need to find a way to be in those arcs, and Precog and Supernatural can still just leave and not get shot anyway.
Not to circle back to Sun Fact, but do you guys agree at least it's the gatekeeper list? Whatever it is you're bringing, you better have an answer or plan for it.
Because the list
not
hasn't
so much to tech against it. I don't mean to go that far. Like
you better have knowledge of the matchup,
but you better have a plan.
It's like a barometer thing, right? Yeah. So I think without knowing what people want to put together, like the baseline of Sunfuck and like as many vultures as possible, right? Like that's the thing. But I don't know what it will do against the rest of the meta if I really want to tech against it. Right now, if you want a barometer for Worlds, you better have a plan to beat 2 Jedi and Rick. Like, can you push through the regen?
Do you still think the Gen Con winner is the one? Or is the variation off it?
A variation, something, just 2 Jedi and Rick. It doesn't even have to be the Gen Con one. Like, you can do... there was moderate 6... The guy just won a hyperspace trial with... Again, it's just a trial, but awesome to him. With Obi-Wan and Plo and Rick, both Jedi with 7B, all of them had regen, and Obi-Wan had sense.
Right.
So, like, he still had, I think, a 7-point bid. I think Rick had crack shot or something. But triple regen, all of them can run really easily. All of them can engage at almost any point in time they really need to, besides Rick, who can engage and run on a distraction basis.
That's kind of crazy. 7-point bid and yet sense as well.
Yeah. Like,
for those who dove way past you.
Like, how is this even like real? Like, you could have thrown sense also on Plo or made Plo into Mace and still had double sense.
I guess we're waiting until January to play the game again.
I think another barometer list to look at Worlds is Kylo Quick Draw Tavson.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. I hate that list.
You need to have, like, I don't know how many FO players are going to be there, but I don't think that list has any bad matchups. And I think Tavson just deletes a whole portion of the meta for people who want to bring stuff. Like Tavson, there's some lists that just can't deal with him at all.
I think Sink or Swarm takes that list on, but yeah, that's a tough list.
Yeah, like there's an answer for everything, and similar to the Jedi, even though Kylo can't regen, it's still really hard if played well to even get half on Kylo.
Mm-hmm.
I was at a hyperspace trial, and I think there may have been only 1 6-0 or 2 of them, but one of them was that Kylo Tavson quick draw.
Mm-hmm.
Was brutal.
People who know how to play that list can perform really well with it.
Yeah, he knew it inside out. He was pretty good.
So Nathan says Infernal Swarm beats Kylo Cutie Tavson. I mean, sometimes, and I don't see Infernal Swarm enough to care.
TIE Swarm is just not gonna make a dent,
especially when you got regen Jedi around. They'll dink, they'll dink around, dunk on you when they need to.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, hey, now, do you think because Rebel Beef has gone by the wayside for the most part? Not that it won't have its. I mean, this is the one thing I love about the game. I was dubious about the fact we had so many factions. I'm loving that because everyone has got their allegiance, and just that alone has forced diversity instead of just
scum players.
Huh?
Except for scum players.
But even then, you even then see people doing well with it if you come across a good scum player. Granted, it's underrepresented, but you could argue every single faction has its good list and has done well with it. A-Wings think they can come back because they're not being suppressed by Rebel Beef, because it's just simply not there.
You're talking RZ2s or RZ1s?
Probably RZ2.
Yeah, I could give a shit about RZ1. Resistance.
Sad.
So
But Jake.
No. I have all due respect. You were the first person to show me the power of Jake, if you'll recall, when we played all those years ago. Man, you lit me up. But what do you think? 5As?
I mean, if performed, they're a higher skill to master and play in matchups. Apparently, Ryan Farmer is pretty high on taking 5A to Worlds.
Well, I saw that
But
post,
it seems
but
like
I'm asking you because you've done obviously insanely well with them. So, in your opinion, Ryan?
God, I have such a I think they have such a problem with Jedi. Like, even though they have consistent fire, they need to create. It's the burden of execution. It's on the A's in that matchup to constantly have arcs on viable targets. And Jedi have so many out capabilities. Against Kylo QD Tavzin, it's really hard to push damage through on Kylo, and you'll probably kill quick draw. And you got to pick your target with Tavzin. You can get past him and kill him, so you might win on points because Kylo might not be able to kill the rest of the A-Wings. Against droids, they should do pretty all right against them because they can peace out, and the droids then can't finish. Like, it's really hard. I think you'd have to mess up with an A-Wing to have a droid swarm like straight up kill it. And I think most A-Wing squads, if they're 5As, are running Tally, Greer,
Right,
Zari,
the new version, right. And
Tally,
2
Greer,
blues.
Zari, and 2 blues.
Right.
Some people are trying to fit in Lulo. Sure, he's got serious punch, but I think it's at the detriment of too much of the rest of the list and tools. It's really, to me, about it's a consistent barrage is what it's doing, and you lose consistency by investing points in Lulo, which I think takes away of some of the mass advanced optics and potentially heroic. I know people aren't high on heroic, but if I'm diving in to consistent barrage, I am doing everything, even though it's a small percentage, to maintain that consistency. That if I double blank on my reds, I can re-roll that. There's lesser chance that I lose that consistency.
You're up in your floor.
Yeah. Some people will just be like, just take, like, there's room for crack shot on a few of the ships that actually matter with crack shot in that list.
Yeah, you can bring 2.
Like, I still value that. And I'm not overvaluing heroic. I'm just putting it there as my insurance. It's a low cost insurance that when massed around the whole squad, it will also have the chance to save you from the bottoming out.
Do not underestimate the emotional lift you get from that. It matters. It's huge.
You have your feelings in it. Feelings, it does feel good to do, but at the
Spock,
same time, it feels
heroic is the best.
Heroic's not terrible.
It's not terrible, and it's worth the investment if used correctly, if you have the right mindset. It's not going to save you every game, but it's going to save you in the long term of a day. You're not going to lose an A-Wing to a one-shot if you blank out. As long as you have to remember, it's not going to automatically save you from everything if you don't have a defensive focus, if you need it. Also, I think Gordon might have lost his mic is still there, but I don't hear him responding, and I thought it sounded like he might have unplugged something.
Yeah, he cut off pretty quickly.
Or the button that was mute was hit.
Damn cats. Getting you too.
So yeah, I know what heroic's doing. I'm not expecting more out of it than what other people do. It's there to maintain my consistency and to mitigate my chances of an A-Wing just getting nuked out of nowhere because I 3 blanked or 4 blanked or 5 blanked. or 6 blanked if you're tally sometimes.
Well, I'm glad we're on agreement. It's the best card in the game. Okay.
I don't
All
agree
right.
with that.
Well, I resent how you edited in after the fact that you don't agree with it when you just agreed with me and then, later edited a different audio response. Okay. I think we're done.
Yeah, it's getting late.
Yeah.
What was Coach's story tonight? What's the deal?
He's just really busy.
Right on.
That's all I got. He's really busy. Couldn't do it this week.
That's cool.
Life finds a way.
Mhm.
Thank you, Jurassic Park.
That's what I'm here for.
Because I seem to have been like, I brought this up. I want to know if you guys have any in mind before we close this out completely. What would be your barometer lists? Like, I thought 2 Jedi Rick is a barometer. Kylo Cutie Tavson is a barometer. What else would you, if you're telling the audience you're practicing for Worlds, what, not specifically for tech reasons, but what is a barometer you should be putting yourself
Well, there's
against?
different things. There's the gatekeeper list, which is like, if you can't even get past this, you're in trouble. But that doesn't mean that's what's going to take down an event. But it's at least your minimum threshold, right?
Yep.
So I like to think that initially Sunfok is going to be our initial gatekeeper. I can't say that it's also a barometer list as well, if we're going to differentiate between gatekeeper and barometer.
I'd rather go by barometer, personally.
I think you're going to see more CIS Swarm than you're used to. I really think those are going to just make a big splash. Yeah, because you're flying it, right? That you've been awfully mum about. Yeah, I know.
Me?
No.
That's me. It's high on my list of ones to do. You should also have a plan against when I'm resistance beef, like 3x plus something, whether it's still Finn or cheaper Kova now.
I think resistance beef you need to have tested against, because you just need to make sure you can put enough damage into it to kill it, because let me tell you, it takes a lot of firepower, or at least a lot of patience.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people, me included, are bad about like playing games to win at time. Like that's what the game is now. It's not so much about, killing your whole opponent. It's about being up on points, and those are lists where it's hard to score points in.
If you're bringing ace list and there you are staring across at, say, a swarm or CIS swarm, and depending on how fast the player is, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's also the issue of, haven't you ever come across those players where they're just, they're not stalling, but they're not processing quicker?
I don't know. Do you know where I live?
So Gordon, that might be a thing where it's going to be really interesting to see how the judges might interact at Worlds with that. Because theoretically, if you're at a Worlds level event, you should be able to, with your squad, you're bringing that you've practiced with Worlds, to efficiently move those things around the board without needing an extraneous amount of extra time to think about these
So
things.
let's toss out a stereotype that is probably incorrect, but indulge me and let's say it is. And there you are with your non-American player, your non-English speaker. They're with their CIS swarm and their limited English skills, and he's playing his meta, which is a slower game. And there you are with your triple aces, and you're planning how to win the game where you only got 7 turns max in the game.
I guess you lose.
No, you needed to dive in, get ahead on points, and run.
Yeah.
Your MOV is shit, but you got the win.
Yeah. I mean, you got to
You're
learn
gonna
learn how to attack from multiple
Right.
angles, and you not even have to attack at the same time. Just make sure that they can't commit hard on someone, and you can't get super
Right.
punished for it.
Right. So
Like-
you will see a lot of examples of that if you're going to advance.
Yeah, you got to know how to correctly give an ace the out in the next turn efficiently enough to where it's not going to like cost him his life or half points.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's a good point. Like having exits, an exit strategy for an ace is just as important as getting your range 1 bullseye attack.
every single ace list is going to do that. And so that's why I think the Jedis are the go-to favorite here, assuming they don't get sun-focked. And I'm only speaking hypothetical. I haven't actually experienced it yet. But because they've got the R2.
Well, they have the R2, and because their double reposition doesn't cost them stress, their one turn is still open up for them the next turn.
Because this was the title of the last episode we did. If you are not bringing the Force, you've lost.
Really?
Yes, I think you need the Force to win. The passive mod power alone is just too much.
Droid Swarm will say otherwise, and Resistance Beef will say otherwise, probably.
I get it.
And
Part of it maybe,
and Sunfock, obviously.
But, so let's set aside Sunfock, but part of it is going to be what did you get lucky in avoiding, which is always the case in a win. But there's no getting around the fact of the power of passive mods where you're token stacking through that stuff. It's still the most powerful effect in the game, I think.
Sure. I mean, we see that with the rise of these Inquisitors in Jendon. They have the ability to have evade force when they need to, but they also have that long range shot capability of their concussion missiles powered by Jendon.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is pretty good.
That is another barometer list. If you don't have a plan for that, then even if it could be a solid matchup for you, which I can't immediately think of what would be, but you got to have you have to have plans.
Can you think of a better example of a list that will always go to time that you will not wipe it out than those Inquisitors and Jendon?
Double Ghost White now.
2 Jedi Rick.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. But it's, assuming that at least the player could screw it up. It's like Inquisitors are like, okay, well, here I am, shoot me.
Yep.
Good luck with that.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out Focus Evade's good.
Yeah, who knew?
Yep. And hey, what if I could still shoot my 3-day shot with an actual mod with just a target lock?
Right. That's the genius of it, is just getting the concussions in there and then Jendon powering that with the double mod. It's just nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's a bit much.
I feel like we're missing an element from the 1.0, and that would be like the bomb meta.
Well, the problem is the bombs are too expensive. Like, Trajectory Simulator is too much. If we get that up, I think if we get Trajectory Simulator back, it solves a lot of problems. And I hate that I just said that.
I mean, I don't know about a lot of problems because Jedi can super out of those, but it certainly screws over a lot of Separatist lists.
Yeah. I ran a Sinker Swarm against a Separatist Swarm with a bunch of the little bastards, but he also had 2 bombers with trajectory on it, and there's nothing I could do about it because I want to joust you, right? Mm-hmm. That game hurt and went down to the final roll of the game where I almost lost, and I go, I can't believe I just lost this, but but that's when I realized, God, this had been missing. People should be fearing this.
Yeah, we're in a state of the game right now that it's not technically about straight defense per turn. It's about overall resiliency throughout a game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, stuff is resilient enough through modifications, passive, and regen, or combination of certain tokens with passive mods that just enable these ships to take 1 to 2, and it's not enough to get real points in a game, and they either outpoint you, or even if you win, you're barely winning at all, and then you got to do it all over again the next game against another variation of a list that still is resilient endgame aces or endgame ships.
Right. Which worries me, right? Because that's kind of a slippery slope to then what's next. You feel like with the point system, they better start reining that in, right? Keep these in place if you want, but just make it expensive as all hell so you can only do it with, like, say, 1 chip.
Mm-hmm.
So then all your eggs really are in one basket. It's like if you're gonna have these kind of gimmicks, well, then you better make certain that 1 ship doesn't screw up and stays alive. Otherwise, there it goes. When it's reflective across a whole list, that's bad.
I mean, technically, we see that in Kylo Cutie Tabson, and it's still being successful.
Right.
But it doesn't feel nearly as oppressive as some of the other lists that are doing something similar.
God. Another one that's good. Brad was doing well with it, right? The two shuttles in Kylo.
Oh yeah, I mean this.
Oh yeah.
You can definitely swap out Quick Draw for an Upsilon shuttle.
Yeah, Same deal.
The choice.
So, yeah, and that's what's interesting. It's like, is there such a thing that runs the gamut like that, right? The Swarm and the Regen Jedi and then the Sunfuck on top of it, and then God, what if Ketsu, like those Ketsu lists, those are for real, right?
Mm-hmm.
I will see your tractor and raise you a tractor, get into a tractor fight with Ketsu.
And then we're not even considering the, what snapshot spam list rises.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like it has to be something that we will not have seen before simply because it just landed on our doorstep and we have nothing to go by. Like our meta for a while after Worlds will be what won Worlds or what rose to the top of Worlds. It's like over under on what do you want to go with? All the stuff we're speculating about, or what do you think the odds are that something we didn't factor is going to make a big splash? I put my money on that.
Oh, it's tough. The one good part, one shining light on this one is every faction, like you said, something is representing it. Maybe outside of Rebels is the only one, and that just doesn't have like a solid squad at the top that we're like, gotta worry about this. Maybe it's just Fat Han and stuff because it still performs all right, but
Fat Han wins some matchups.
Yeah.
Don't you think 4 U-Wings can do well?
No.
No?
Maybe.
I see it doing well in Europe a lot.
Yeah.
Unless the meta is just so radically changed now, but that's always tough because it just simply just keeps rotating and shooting where you're at. It doesn't need to fly. It just needs to point its guns in the right direction. Put yourself in a part of a map where it's like, I shoot you no matter where you go because I just rotated. Thank you, Leia.
I wouldn't doubt if some of the international guys, since that's seemingly where it originated from, bring the 4 U's.
Yeah.
U-Wings are what, 8 health, right?
On 2 agility, yeah.
They stick around a very long time.
3 shield, 5 fall.
Yeah.
I think you take one of them's have Tauber and one of them's Benthic, and the other 2 are just, I think, Partisan Renegades, or if you want to be more blockers, or just a couple of the Blue Scouts. You fit in Leia there somewhere. Not sure of all the correct quote-unquote loadouts, but I'd have to look at List's Fortress to see what has been used before and how far back it was used, right? If we even consider that maybe if the meta shifted enough with Wave 5 that they're not going to be in play, but I don't feel like that's the case.
You guys look miserable.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably about time we actually close this out.
Go to bed.
You guys have a lovely evening. I have a easy day of work ahead of me tomorrow. So.
Congrats.
Yeah. I'll catch you guys later, Gordon. Hope to see you soon. Ryan, same to you.
Got to yub nub out of this, man.
Oh, I hate this part. Yub nub. Yep. I'm just Can't we go with the original song to that movie? Why are we yub nubbing?
I don't know. Because we wanna.
You wanna?
Don't you wanna?
I wanna nub nub. Yub nub.
Yub nub. All right. Well, thank you for having me on. I will see you guys later.
Thanks for the invite. Good night, guys.
Night.
I'm gonna hug cats.
Night, Chad.
Bye.
Bye.